382-2363.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome in to Sportstime, a Friday, February 24th edition of the show. I'm Bryant Dacus with Brett Norsworthy and Jay Morgan Harder as we're going to wrap up the week in the next 3 hours. And first off, we got a busy show, but a lot has happened since the last time we talked. The Tigers won a game. The Grizzlies lost a game. We had a firing at Ole Miss. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours. But Brett, in studio today. How you doing today?
Doing good, my man. How are y'all? Poor
Good.
Jay Morgan and Tiger bankroll last night. I felt so bad for you.
Why? Because I switched and changed
Did it to
up?
himself.
Did it to himself. Most wounds are self-inflicted, Jay Morgan.
Was on the right side, and then, you got to go with your gut.
I still would contend I'm on the right side. Sometimes the right side loses, guys. That's the way I want to view the story.
You lost last night.
Yeah, I did.
Tigers had a big roadie, a roadie that everybody was scared of, but a roadie that they nonetheless got the win for. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the Grizzlies, and we will talk about the worst-kept secret, truly, in all of college sports, and that's that Kermit Davis is out after basically 5 years. But now 2 Ole Miss coaches in a row that couldn't make it to the end of the last year.
Yeah.
Andy Kennedy just said no mas, and a little earlier than this in his last year, and Tony Madlock had to steer the ship the rest of the way, and now Kermit Davis out, and Ole Miss with LSU at home tomorrow, road game, middle of 2 games next week, and then the SEC tournament that I don't think they'll be long for. But once again, opening at Ole Miss, and I thought Kermit Davis, I think he is now leaving it in worse shape than he found it in, Bryant.
Yeah.
He found it, I think, when he took the job, I thought it was the best shape ever for an Ole Miss coach taking over the job. Lee Hunt and Ed Murphy would have loved, Bob Weltlich would have loved taking over that job, even Rob Evans, even Rod Barnes. You were taking over a brand new arena. The blackest of black eye arenas in the history of the league was arguably Tad Smith Coliseum. So into the new place, new practice facility, budget for recruiting, budget for diet, travel, training, budget for assistant coaching, your salary, and Andy Kennedy had proved that you can have some success there. He left the all-time leading coach. Well, he came in the first year and did well with Breein Tyree and Terrence Davis. Was Schuler and
I think Schuler was there that year. I can't remember.
I think Devontae Schuler was on that team. Got to the NCAA tournament, got blasted in it by Oklahoma. Okay. So then the next few years, and then just nothing. And now starting over again with a lot of names circulating around the job. How often in Ole Miss basketball history has it had a chance to arguably hire the best coach in the sport? And that is Chris Beard. Yeah, I think you can make that case. I think on opening night before the incident with the fiance, if we had High Hardwin's name, who you think is the best coach, I think I would have said Chris Beard, largely from the little bit I got to know him that 1 year at ULR, then what he did at Texas Tech and what he was getting ready to do at Texas. So how many chances does Ole Miss ever get a shot at, according to anybody, hiring the best coach in basketball? And got lucky with Lane Kiffin and got one of the really good coaches in college football, and could get that in basketball if indeed it is Chris Beard. There's a lot of pushback. There's a lot of hemming and hawing about it. It's a tough decision for Keith Carter. One thing about it, with today's headlines, it's the least of the transgressions out there in these headlines.
It is. I mean, maybe a week ago it would have been the biggest, but it's definitely changed since this. I think that's an interesting one. I haven't been able to see much of it because I've been up here all day, but I know Jeff Goodman put out Chris Beard, Dusty May, and Will Wade were kind of the early ones he had been hearing from his sources. But, I mean, I know we talked about it a couple days ago, and I know things change now that they've actually made the decision of firing. But what do you think about Chris Beard? I mean, do you think there's any smoke to that?
I do. I think it's being considered. I don't have it from I don't have it directly from anyone or even anybody well placed. It's just my hunch on things, and a few people, but again, not that well placed. And for Chris Beard to be able to start back in the SEC, I think that would be very desirable for him. I would say this: if the one opening this year in the SEC, if it was anybody other than Ole Miss, if it was any of the other 13, from Kentucky to whoever, however you want to list them, legally, technically, he has been cleared.
Yeah.
Now, Alabama is hanging on no charges, legally, technically. And then the whole morality of things come in, and domestic violence is very serious and should be taken very seriously. But she, the victim, she said it didn't happen, that even the abrasions, the bruises, was from defending himself. Yeah. So I don't know if Ole Miss will or won't hire Chris Beard. If you just asked me, would I be okay by it? I would be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, I mean, it's not going to be every single season that Ole Miss is in a position to hire arguably one of the best coaches, current coaches in college basketball. So I think you definitely have to, even if it's a year or two, I mean, what he could come in and do that quickly could be huge and could set up for that next coach if he was to go and, maybe in a couple years after things have settled and he's kind of proven that he can still do it, goes to a bigger school. That sets up a really good spot for the next coach at Ole Miss. So I think it's definitely something you got to consider.
I think it will be considered. And with that, how long does Greg Marshall stay in the penalty box? I don't think he is on any list at Ole Miss. I don't know if he's on any list anywhere. I don't really know why. Because at some point I do believe in punishment, but I also believe you get paid up.
Sure.
And Chris Beard has paid a big price. Greg Marshall has paid a big price. Is it a lifetime sentence you pay? Rick Pitino's name being bandied about for other jobs out there in college basketball. I don't think any serious consideration of him at Ole Miss. But yesterday on Pardon the Interruption on ESPN, Tony Kornheiser suggested Rick Pitino for Notre Dame to be Mike Bray's successor with his Catholic tie and the ultimate Catholic school that Notre Dame is, and whether you like or dislike what Rick Pitino was alleged and found to be involved in, he did pay a price.
Yeah, he did. That would be interesting if he was to go to Notre Dame. I know that he did an interview with Matt Norlander of CBS Sports, and he kind of said,
I'm open for offers.
I'm open. I like where I'm at Iona, and if I was going to go somewhere else, it would have to be someone that could legitimately make a Final Four or national championship run. So it's interesting. I also saw Rick Pitino we talk about some of the great Twitter handles. Rick Pitino has one of the best.
Does he? I've never seen one.
Do we talk about that, Brian?
Well, no. Before you, we always.
Oh, this
we always
predated me.
It predated you. We always talked about Magic Johnson's Twitter page. Rick Pitino, very similar to Magic Johnson.
Just says facts.
Sky's blue.
Let me pull up his Twitter real quick.
While you're pulling that up, let me ask you, Brett. Back to Chris Beard. Do you think you think that Ole Miss might? Obviously, people have talked about. You think Ole Miss has interest in Chris Beard? Do you think Chris Beard would be interested in Ole Miss?
I think Chris Beard right now may have more interest than Ole Miss has back in him.
Really?
My hunch on it, just my gut on it. Again, none of this is from Keith Carter. None of this is from anyone, air quotes here, well placed. It's just my feeling on it. But and most of what I'm getting is from the Chris Beard side through Little Rock friends, confidants that I'm not among. But I did know him itty bitty, and we know what he did after Little Rock.
Yeah.
Now, the one legitimate fear is if you take that heat, you hire Chris Beard, you roll him out at the press conference, and you take that battering that you're going to get from the .coms, from the talk shows, and maybe even from people looking to change the story from Alabama, because like I've said many times, Brian, we only do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been done this week. Just how outraged can you stay? So, all right, so the bumblebee flies over to the Ole Miss flower, and boy, there have been a lot of people that enjoyed flower through the years, and then it becomes the kind of the public whipping person for a few days, for a few weeks. Do you want to go through that? You last through that. You get to the summertime, you get to Rebel Road Trip, you get to the mashed potato circuit, you get to the scrambles, it goes over well. You get to the first year, it goes over well. Nothing happens off the court or behind the scenes untoward. He goes 21-10, and he's gone next year to much bigger, much more glamorous job, and you're right back hiring someone again. Is it worth all that?
That's exactly what I was thinking too. It's not like he would be the coach for the program movie. You know what I mean? He would be
a placeholder.
Yeah,
First, how hard when y'all would ask me who's going to be there longer, Lane Kiffin or Chris Beard?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. And Chris Beard, if he is what he is touted to be, which is an otherworldly coach, you wouldn't think he would be there very long because another suitor would come a-calling fairly quickly, especially if he has any success at a school like Ole Miss in a conference like the SEC. That's why I wonder whether or not he would be open to taking the job, or whether Ole Miss would be willing to give it
What
to him.
if he has that 21-10 year, and this time next year, LSU 2 years in realizes, can't go any further with this. And they come calling for Chris Beard. And you've gone through that public whipping to take that heat, and he's at of all places LSU in a year. Is it worth that?
I was trying to think of it. I don't know if it would be. I was also trying to think of other power schools, like Northeastern schools. Like I was thinking of maybe, is there a school in the Big East that would be in the market?
Nah, he's not going there. He's staying in this neck.
That's what I thought too. And when I thought about that, I thought the South.
Now, do you hire someone and you're already in kind of a defending position? You're already kind of on your heels, like if you hire Chris Beard and nothing happens off the court, he wins on the court. What if in a year Eric Musselman gets the dream NBA job? And Chris Beard, he has that Arkansas connection. Yeah. Arkansas wanted him badly when they hired Eric Musselman.
I mean, he would leave Ole Miss for Arkansas
in a split second.
In a split second. And I think no, because Texas wouldn't come calling. I was going to say if a big school in Texas came calling again, but it wouldn't be Texas Tech because those ties.
What if Kelvin Sampson retired this time next year and Houston came calling now in the Big 12?
Yeah, it'd be a Big 12 school, maybe coming off of
what if Porter Mosier left OU?
Oklahoma, he would go.
Sure,
he would go.
So it's a lot to weigh. It's a tough spot for Keith Carter. I trust him in it, and want it to end successfully for Ole Miss and for everybody involved. But I wouldn't put a percentage on it, and if I had to, I wouldn't even say it's 50-50.
What about Will Wade? I've heard Will Wade's name thrown around today. But that's one that I'm not even sure Will Wade, no disrespect to Will Wade, not that he's listening or anything, but no disrespect to Will Wade, I'm not even sure how good of a coach Will Wade is. Will Wade got in trouble for throwing buku amounts of money at players.
It's legal now.
And that's just how you have to level the playing field nowadays to get in the game. Yeah. And so I'm not even sure if everybody's doing that, how much of an advantage Will Wade would have coaching basketball.
And on a lot of these hires, and you could throw out several names here. I don't know if it's that productive to do that, but I could. We're not hiring a coach for the Vienna Boys Choir, and we've long since kind of lost that molder of men hire. Everybody wants to win, and everybody wants to win next year. And with NIL, you can win next year.
Well, that and the transfer portal. I mean, you can put together a team that can compete with anybody in
that could
one year.
That could also be a color your impression of how you hire a coach, though. You know what I mean? Like you also want a coach for your program. Although Chris Beard winning a couple of years and even going to Arkansas could put your program in a good place to hire the next coach too. There is a school of thought for that.
Sure could.
You're really thinking of hiring a coach that could lead your program for a good amount of years to come. That's just the way I think of it.
Great point, Jay Morgan. The other side of that is we'll go get another one. We just showed we could do it.
That's right. That's a good point.
Yeah. One, I think.
So it's a tough call, but there's some of me that's very sad about how it is ending for Kermit Davis. But there's a lot of it that I was not that big on from the very beginning. His age was an issue for me when he was hired, and the very fact that his alma mater, Mississippi State, not just because that it's Mississippi State, but also at least once, if not twice, they had a chance to hire him and they passed. That said something to them. And then the fact that he did play at State, his dad played at State, his dad was head coach at State. You reverse all that, and Mississippi State would never hire the composite of that from Ole Miss, and I don't blame them.
You say it like that, and it reminds me of Tennessee passing on Rick Byrd so many times. It's kind of like that is maybe he would have been better served, finishing his coaching career at the place he had so much immense success, that being Middle Tennessee. Because Tennessee had more than one opportunity to hire Rick Byrd, and they decided not to do that as well.
But a great night last night for the Tigers, not so great for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about that, but let me set up today's show schedule. We're about to get into top and not top story. At 3:30, Alan Bell from CBS Sports going to join us to talk some wagering and some of his best bets for the weekend. 3:45, we'll talk about that Grizzlies loss. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet will join us to do some more wagering. 4:30, Ty Richardson from ESPN Fort Smith is going to join us to talk some Arkansas basketball, and we'll get his thoughts on the SEC as we get closer to conference tournament time. 4:45, we'll do big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal will join us to talk about the Tigers' win last night. We'll also get his thoughts on Keontae Kennedy's injury. 5:30, we'll do What's Trending. At 5:45, we'll wrap it up like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Preseason patio and pool sales going on right now. Buy now and save big with the area's largest selection of patio furniture. Pool season is just around the corner. Buy now and get ahead of the summer rush. Specialty early bird pricing is going on. Free layaway and special financial available through them. Be ready to enjoy the backyard as soon as spring hits, and the weather's getting nice. I know we're getting a cold front, but next week's supposed to be really nice. Mention this ad and get half off delivery and installation. That's Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
83-78 last night in Wichita for the Tigers, but in Philadelphia, it was the Grizzlies falling 110-105. We'll talk a lot about that as we go through this Friday afternoon. We want you to be a part of it at 901-360-8255. You can text us. You can call us at that number. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
My top story is the Tigers' win last night on the road at Wichita State. It was a win that we talked about they needed. It was the most important game, but now the most important game becomes Cincinnati. I thought the Tigers really shot the ball well early. First half, 59.3% from the field. They knocked down 6 of their first 10 attempts from 3 in the first half. But that defense just continues to kind of worry you. Wichita State finishes with 78 points, and it bothers me when you shoot nearly 60% from the field and make 6 3-pointers in the first half, and you're tied at halftime at 40 points apiece. And then I was looking last night, Wichita State really got whatever they wanted inside the three-point line. They did not shoot the ball well from 3, but inside the paint, they had looks. But inside, they shot 62% on 2-point attempts. That just can't happen, especially when you've got a Cincinnati team that's going to come into Memphis and then another matchup with Houston in 2 Sundays. So it's a win's a win, and it was a good win. They did some really, really good things. But I think that defense, we keep going back to it. It was supposed to be the staple of this team, and it continues late in the season to worry you.
And at this point in the year, how's it going to change? How's it going to get better? How much more, tape, film you're going to be watching? How much more scout are you going to do? But it was a win, and it was a win they had to have. You had the top story as the win. Well, maybe my personality. My top story was the Memphis
pessimistic.
loss last night. It was right there for the pro and college sweep for Memphis last night. The Grizzlies up big, heck up 4 with a minute and a half to play. The Tigers fought and held on at Wichita. All eyes on Philly after that, and everything fell flat down the stretch. No Steven Adams, poor free throw shooting, poor three-point shooting, Ja a little shaky decision-making, and the Grizzlies lose. And for the first time all year, maybe the biggest feeling of doom around a loss. Just one out of the break, but everybody's had that feeling last night and today, haven't they? Everybody have a kind of that sense of doom of what's coming next for the Grizzlies. And there was a time that we were talking about the Grizzlies, going to the NBA Finals, winning the West, being the 2. All that feels out. Hanging on to the 2 feels out. The 3, the 4, winning a playoff series. We used to talk about June basketball. I'm worried about late April basketball now.
Not top story of the day.
I'm going to stick right there with my not top story. It's everything that we've talked about, all the concerns about this team in what last night was kind of came to fruition last night. They haven't been good at protecting leads late in games. They haven't been good on national television. They haven't been good on the road. Kind of all that came to fruition last night in Philadelphia. They had that chance to win it. They were up late and just could not finish it against a good 76ers team with Joel Embiid, who really went off last night, 27 points and 19 rebounds. I mean, he's a good player, great player. But it's just those concerns just keep coming up, and you're going to come back home, play a couple of home games, but I think I was looking at this morning, 7 of your next 11, I think, are on the road. So they've just got to get better at playing in road environments, and you really want something to kind of flip in their favor, and it needs to flip soon. Hopefully that's Steven Adams. Hopefully we can get him back next week.
Denver tomorrow night, LeBron and the Lake Show in Tuesday night, and they're still in 13th, but they played well late last night against Golden State. My not top story, the Tigers did hang on. Then that's the object of the game.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to ever get too uppity about a win. Always stuff that can be improved and picked at. But we're not the coaching staff.
No.
Way to go, Tigers. Tigers held on, hard-earned and well-fought, made free throws. They made key threes, and they pretty much outlasted Wichita State in Wichita. Now 38 in the net and really in complete control of getting an NCAA tournament bid. Doesn't require any scoreboard watching. Only scoreboard the Tigers have to watch the scoreboard above them where they're playing. And 2 of those next 3 games will be at FedEx Forum. The other one will be against a very depleted SMU at Moody. So no scoreboard watching, and just win these last 3 and in. The idea of not getting into the NCAA tournament now seems very remote, almost as remote as that Grizzlies being the number 1 seed in the West feels.
Whew. Well, I saw Joe Lunardi updated his bracketology today. It looks like they moved down 1 or 2 spots in
that 10 range.
In that 10 range.
11, I think, at Lunardi.
Yeah, but
playing Providence in the first round. 6 versus 11.
No. It was 10. It was
7 versus 10. Okay.
Yeah. So that's good. And he also put out, I guess, the percentages of, and he has Memphis as 90 or better percentage to make the tournament. So. Got to feel good about that.
And gives them one more loss they're able to have than Jerry Palm does. Jerry Palm says they can only have one more loss the rest of the way. Joe Lunardi thinks they only need one more win to be in the tournament.
Now, regular season.
Regular season. So Jerry Palm saying can lose to Houston at home.
That's right.
But that's got to be your only loss.
Or lose another one and then beat Houston
and then beat
at home.
Houston. So
losing to SMU, I don't know.
Oh, that's a different story.
I don't think that'll happen.
No, neither do I. No. But Jerry Palm says you can do it as long as you win the other 2.
How about this? How about beat Cincinnati? It's not far-fetched, is it?
How about just
at home Sunday?
Win your games.
Wes Miller, another Ole Miss candidate.
Right. Win at home against Houston.
That'd be something.
Win the AAC tournament.
How about
Bingo.
that?
Then what seed are you talking then?
6?
No.
7?
I think 8. For me, 8 is your top. Your thoughts?
If you close the season on that win streak and win the AAC, 8's the top.
Because what do you say? They're 11 and 10 kind of generically right now?
But you got to think, if like you said, they beat Houston regular season and then win the American, they would have to beat Houston again theoretically if Houston comes out on the other side. So that'd be 2 wins against Houston.
And they're lusty net.
Well, maybe 6 then. No, I still think.
I think it's about 7 or 8.
I'll go 7.
Yeah.
I'll go one more higher, 7.
Let's let it happen. We see.
That's right.
That's
How
right.
fun would that be?
That'd be something. But let's get to our first break of the day. When we come back, Alan Bell from CBS Sports, he's next.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
I know you're thinking about pools and patios right now. Don't deny it. They're on your mind. So it's a good thing that Family Leisure is having their preseason patio and pool sale. It's like they're mind readers. You can buy now and save big with the area's largest selection of patio furniture. You want free layaway? Done. You want special financing? Done. You want to be ready to enjoy your backyard just as soon as spring hits? Family Leisure has you covered. Patio and pool season's not that far away. So now's the time to take advantage of this fantastic early bird pricing special. Now here comes the really special part. If you mention this commercial, you get half off delivery and installation. I'll let that sink in for a second. You heard me right, my friends. You mentioned this very commercial, and Family Leisure will give you half off delivery and installation. The preseason patio and pool sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Are you looking to lease a commercial space for your business? Call Stephen Hoffman. Are you a landlord looking to have your space leased? Call Stephen Hoffman. Maybe you're looking to buy or sell commercial real estate. If so, you want a professional broker looking out for your best interest, and that broker is Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Stephen is a Memphis native who knows his market well and only works the commercial side of real estate. He works for a great firm that has been locally owned and operated in Memphis for almost 40 years. Whether representing tenants, landlords, or investors alike, you are sure to get great market analysis, access to on and off market listings, and a tough negotiator on your behalf. Call 901-761-5595 and ask for Stephen Hoffman. You can also find him on the web at myerscre.com. That's MYERSCRE.com. Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Representing your real estate business is his business. Call Stephen Hoffman.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Hey Memphis, this is Johnny B with the Memphis Music Room. Consider Memphis Music Room for your next event. Our venue has a total of 4,000 square feet in the dining area with a full commercial kitchen and a bar serving a variety of liquor, wine, and beer. Our main hall has 8,000 square feet and a seating capacity of 1,000 and a full festival-sized stage with a permanent back line and lighting. We'd love to plan your next event, from an anniversary to a birthday party to a wedding celebration. Call us today at 808-5000 or visit us at memphismusicroom.com and come celebrate with us. Hey Memphis, this is Johnny B with the Memphis Music Room. Consider Memphis Music Room for your next event. Our venue has a total of 4,000 square feet in the dining area with a full commercial kitchen and a bar serving a variety of liquor, wine, and beer. Our main hall has 8,000 square feet and a seating capacity of 1,000 and a full festival-sized stage with a permanent back line and lighting. We'd love to plan your next event, from an anniversary to a birthday party to a wedding celebration. Call us today at 808-5000 or visit us at memphismusicroom.com and come celebrate with us.
Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. We have been helping Memphians with their celebrations for more than 38 years. Whether you're picking up one of our party packs to serve yourself or booking one of our private dining rooms at our Cordova location or our Olive Branch location, Corky's has you covered. We make it easy for you to impress your guests for company parties, sports banquets, or reunions. Corky's has been trusted year after year for all of your party needs. Call today and reserve your private party room before your date is booked.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with us.
So, person I ate lunch with today just asked me,
Uh-oh.
I know you didn't drink at lunch, but what they put in your tea? How far-fetched? And I know it's very, very rosy optimistic, but Tigers have 2 of the next 3 at home. Okay? We'll be favored in 2 of them and slight underdog to Houston in that third one, right?
Yeah.
They've shown a great ability to not be scared of Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get to the AAC tournament. The first is a gimme.
Mm-hmm.
The second one's probably Tulane with plenty of motivation. Finals would be against said team, Houston, again, that either they've played them really close or they've defeated them. They're not scared of them. Kelvin Sampson has said Penny's got a good book on his team.
Yeah.
What is so wild about that in a year that everything is wide open?
I don't know. I mean, I think you can get Houston maybe once. 2 times is tough.
3 times a lady. I think it's wild if they win in the regular season to win in the tournament. But I think if they lose twice, it's not as wild for them to beat them the third time.
Let's ask Alan Bell. He joins us now from CBS Sports to talk all things wagering. Alan Bell, this college basketball season is plenty wide open, isn't it?
Oh, gosh. It's out of control wide open.
How many different teams you think could win it all?
Anybody? Like, I mean, seriously. Like, look at the top 10. Look at teams that have been number 1 this year. Like, it hasn't lasted more than 2 games, right?
Yeah.
Like, that goes to show you there. I mean, brackets are going to be crazy this year. Like, I can't wait for it.
Alan, I know you're a big Tennessee guy up there in Nashville. What's up with your Vols?
Which one?
Man,
Baseball?
really?
No, I'm kidding. Look, they got a scoring problem. Obviously, Tennessee's been a defensive team all year. Top 2, top 3, if not the best defensive team in the country. But, that only goes so far, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've got to be able to score and you've got to be able to produce, offense. And they just can't do it, man. And look, man, I like Rick Barnes. I think everybody does. Like, who doesn't like Rick Barnes?
Well, there's a few here in
I was about to
Memphis,
say, you're talking to the wrong city.
we had the clenched fist game. Yeah.
Yeah. But, it's one of those things to where, he's going to win a lot of games, but I don't know what he's going to have to show for it, right? And, Tennessee, man, they're leaking oil quickly.
Alan, when you say anybody, I know you don't mean a 15 seed, but I wonder when we get the bracket in front of us in a couple of Sundays, I love adding up the cumulative seed. We get to the Final Four. The very best would be 4, number 1, so that would equal 4. Yeah. I'm gonna go out there and say, and I'm gonna find this at the NC Tournament Media Guide. They keep this every year. I'm gonna find the largest number ever, and I'm saying this year exceeds it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean,
throw in a 4 and a 6 and a 3 and a 2. Well, what is it? That's 15 right there.
Exactly. And here's the thing. You guys all know how the brackets work. Like, once you get to, the first weekend, right, the round of 64 or whatever, that it is now, that second game, right, like that's when you start seeing crazy upsets happen because you have 1, 2, 3 seeds that are going up against high numbers, like you said, but these are pretty good teams, and especially this year, there's really no separation. I think you're right. I think this is the year to do that.
Alan, one thing I love about having you on every week is we can kind of get a behind-the-scenes picture of kind of what goes through your mind when it comes to handicapping these games. And with conference tournaments about to start, how different is that for you when it comes to college basketball, handicapping just a, Wednesday game and then a Saturday game to then having to handicap teams that are playing back to back to back from day to day.
Alan, we used to call them write-in games.
Well, let me say this. What we just talked about with the NCAA tournament. Look, this year you're going to have a lot more teams that are kind of fighting for eligibility, right? So when you look at these conferences, and you have a team that's fighting for it, like they're not much worse generally than their counterparts, right? What I mean by that is this. Let's use Tennessee as an
Memphis.
example. Memphis is a dangerous team because they can go through and look. Who's the biggest competition over there? Houston, right?
And they've been playing in pressure-packed games since January 1.
Bingo, 100%, man. So that goes into it, but especially it goes into it this year. But if you're looking for something tangible, right? Look at teams that they're basically their offensive points per possession. All right. So look at that offensively and look at it defensively. Right. So teams that can play good defense, good offense. I know it sounds cliched, it sounds simple, but it's not. Like teams that are efficient offensively and efficient defensively. Tennessee is kind of skewed, right? Like if you look at it in a line graph, they're really good defensively, really not that good offensively, right? Find teams that are in the middle. They don't have to be the best in either one. They're just good at both of them. Those are the teams that are going to advance. Like they're just very difficult to beat night in and night out.
Alan, when I have my bracket in front of me that Sunday night, and we will fill it out and announce our brackets at some point that week, but I usually do it on Sunday night and stick with it. I'm going to have by me the NCAA basketball statistics, and I'm going to find me teams that can score.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, teams that can look. I think you nailed it. Teams that can score and teams that can play some defense, right? So you look at a Houston team is perfect at that. Look, Houston might be the best team in the country, right? I mean, because
I think they are.
I do too. They dictate the pace. You are going to play at their speed. They can go up tempo if they need to, but they generally don't want to. Like you're going to play at their pace, and they can also just crush it on you offensively. Like they're a good team. Arizona is another team that can do that. They're basically coached Gonzaga with NBA players, right? Like I mean, those types of teams, 100%, man. Yeah, 100%.
One of the biggest games, a couple big games this weekend, but one of the biggest being number 8 Texas going on the road to number 9 Baylor. I guess first off, how hard has it been to handicap the Big 12 this year? It's been so good. And then what, if anything, do you like in that game?
Yeah, so the Big 12 best basketball conference in America. Generally taking underdogs with big points has been very, very profitable because these games are usually always so tight, right?
Yeah.
Now look at Texas. Texas is a team that is like a mechanic. When you find a good one, like they're honest, they're hardworking, they show up every day. They're not perfect. Right. They're not perfect, but you know what you're going to get. I mean, they lost their coach, early, middle of the season, and they didn't skip a beat. Now, they're not the best team in the country, but they're pretty darn good. They're going to fight you. If Baylor, good basketball team as well. I'll say this. It's hard for me to fade Texas because you're going to get it every single night. So, yeah, I'll roll the long ones there.
Also this weekend, we have week 2 of it and soon to start the USFL. Are you putting out anything on XFL, USFL?
Question.
Which one, USFL or XFL?
Either.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Both.
Yeah. So, I watched last week of the XFL, and I've got to say, phenomenal, right? Like, I don't think a weekend could have gone better, in terms of that. I have to learn, about the teams before I start putting out any picks on that because I don't want to, burn anybody's money.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, like, I got to be honest, I didn't have big expectations for either of them, and I think they're going to find their footing. Like if they could just stay, like just don't fold the league. Like if you just stick around, there's absolutely an appetite for it. So yeah, we'll definitely get.
But we also know with all these leagues, this is an expensive venture, and even with good TV deals, there's a lot of money going out.
Yeah, it's tough. Like that's the hardest part. Is like with football, you've got so many players, you've got so much equipment, you've got to rent fields, stadiums, you've got to take trips with hundreds of people. It's expensive. Like it's not basketball, it's not baseball. Like those are far less on the balance sheet, yeah, that's the most difficult part, is that it's just such an expensive sport.
Another sport I know that you've been following closely and putting some bets out as the season started last week. We talked a little bit about you with college baseball last week when we had you on. And I'll just tell you, I don't really like talking about my personal picks on air or anything. But earlier this week for a midweek game, I had a parlay. I think it was Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Florida baseball.
What is this humble brag?
Hold on. No, it's not a humble brag. And Alan knows exactly where I'm going with this. Florida was up 7-3 in the ninth inning. Now, that's a scrappy South Florida team. They put up 7 runs. 7 runs in the ninth inning.
I hate it when that happens.
That's a midweek baseball game for you in college basketball or college baseball.
It is. Dude, that was the most insane meltdown. It ruined our parlay.
Oh, man.
All they had to do was just finish. They went through 2 pitchers, an outfielder who dropped the ball, then threw it into the crowd.
Oh, no.
USF hit 2 home runs. It was just insane.
Oh, no.
Miserable.
You're right, man. That's midweek baseball. I'll tell you this. We've got our first big weekend series this weekend, and there's so many good games, man. Ole Miss is going to have an awesome weekend.
I'm going to Ole Miss, Maryland tomorrow. What will I see?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this, man. I'm all over Ole Miss, all over them. And Maryland's a good baseball team. Good baseball team. But I love this Ole Miss character. We've also got UCLA Vanderbilt, here in Nashville. UCLA has been putting up 26 runs on Cats in games. This weekend's going to be great in college baseball.
What, UCLA thinking they're joining the SEC? I mean, I know they're going to the Big Ten. What, is jet fuel free from Los Angeles?
Yeah, I tell you what, they'd like it. That TV money comes in help.
So, Alan, before we let you go, give us some of your best bets for the weekend.
Yeah, so like I said, man, Ole Miss baseball, riding them tonight, riding UCLA plus 1.5 against Vanderbilt there. You look at college basketball tonight, not a great slate, rolling with Nevada -3, and in NBA tonight rolling with the Kings and the Clippers under 239.
Very good. Alan Bell, one NFL note before we let you get away.
Yep.
These stories about Russell Wilson, man, he really must not be a very likable guy.
No, it's crazy.
How did we not know any of this in Seattle?
That's what I was about to say. It must have been hidden that well. Pete Carroll knew, making that trade, because we all thought he was dumb. We were like, "What are you doing?" You could tell. You could definitely tell. Just an unlikable guy. And the weird thing is that he's unlikable because he's trying to be something that he's not. Mr. Hollywood superstar. It's like, dude, it's not you, man. It's not you at all. I'm with you there.
It's a crazy story. It just seems like more and more comes out about him as the weeks go on.
And never flattering.
Nothing.
No, it's positive.
It's wild. I'm sure, hey, who knows, 2 weeks from now we'll probably get another story about him. But
I'll tell you what, I was going to say, 2 weeks from now, we're going to see Taysom Hill walking in with Sean Payton over there in Denver.
I wouldn't put it past him. You never know.
Nope.
But, Alan, thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, you guys too, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Alan. Good luck this weekend. Thank you so much, Alan Bell, with us from CBS Sports and for the weekend with all the great action we have going on near and far. And also, if you just want to get out this weekend, 2 great places. I was at one of the 2 today, and I highly suggest the other one. I was at the new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar. At lunchtime, we practically had one of everything. Or you can go to the original in Germantown, and I heard an ovation from another room, so they had a big group there, perfect for a big group of any size, perfect for any meal, and even nice enough at times. We know we're getting ready to get into the good times to enjoy the patio and get outdoors there at the Collierville Commissary. If you're craving an easier way to order, text Commissary to 33733. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs done the Memphis way, the slow-cooked way. Start that feast like we did today with the appetizers like the cheese plate, check. Tamales, check. The barbecue nachos, we had that. Smoked chicken wings, table across from us had that, and then dig into the ribs of the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a sandwich, on the plate, all the sides, beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread. You can even order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. In those desserts, you see them in the display case. You can buy the whole pies and the whole cakes, and they taste as good as they look. They taste even better than they look, and they look fantastic. The best lemon icebox pie I've ever had anywhere. That strawberry cake, I could have left that whole cake today. The banana pudding, just outstanding. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com. in Collierville and Germantown in those party areas, whether order to go, catering, tailgating, basketball season, any season, the perfect season at the commissary, either the new Collierville commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar or the original in Germantown. Again, the number 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com.
Let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Grizzlies and their loss last night against the 76ers.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. You've known the name for 30 years. You might even remember him from nearly 20 years on Kix 106 as half of the Young and Elder Show. Now, 13 years later, Brian Elder is the largest purchaser of Owens Corning shingles in Memphis. Call him right now, 867-0303. Certified and trained by Owens Corning to earn a reputation for quality and expertise matched by no one. Don't let them tell you it has to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. Call right now, 867-0303. He'll climb every inch of your roof. He'll go into your attic and run a moisture and ventilation test using state-of-the-art equipment to make certain you're protected from mold and other contaminants. You may be causing respiratory problems for your family and not even know it. We're waiting for your call, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Golfers, teed up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Callaway, featuring the Paradigm Woods and Irons. The Paradigm Woods are engineered with forged carbon to have unparalleled distance and forgiveness. The Irons feature a high-strength forged face for increased launch, speed, and spin. A new paradigm in performance. Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax-confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
It may be cold, but the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event will heat you up. Discover a new way to ride in your 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage and get 39 MPG combined for $17,520 or $289 a month and 0 down. And check out 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport for $29 a month, 29 MPG Highway, or get 2.9 for 36 months. Want peace of mind? We Gossett with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage. $289 per month. 2023 Outlander Sport, $429 per month. You won't go wrong ever when you shop Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com. You want it? We Gossett at Gossett Mitsubishi.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Garage PHW 2846, MSRP 18020, Sport PUW 2230, MSRP 29545, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And we mentioned it earlier, but we didn't really get into it much. The Grizzlies on the road last night, the first game back from the All-Star break in Philadelphia. They lose 110-105. Led, I think, had a 17-point lead at one point, but ultimately fall in the closing minutes of the game. It's just something that we've seen multiple times before the All-Star break, and it reared its ugly head last night.
It did, and I don't want to be full Grizzlies freak out. I don't want to be that when I was talking about the doom earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That one last night, it felt different. It felt a little more despairing than some of the others, and a lot of it legitimately is Steven Adams, but that's not all of it.
No,
and I don't want to be overly critical because I was one of the ones out there touting June basketball. Now I'm reluctant of even late April basketball. Right now, it feels like the seed could really start tumbling. Mm-hmm. That too is most precarious, and when you start losing it could fall off the deep end. And no easy opponent tomorrow night or Tuesday night. The next easy opponent, well, it's on the road at Houston and somewhere in there at Denver, at Los Angeles, against the Clippers and the Lakers, you would be expecting the Steven Adams return. Sure don't want to crush Ja, but the league showed there's humble pie to be served.
Sure is. I mean, I don't want to say everything kind of goes back to those comments, but you say something like that, and then out of nowhere, the West got much, much, much better.
It's easy to talk. Mm-hmm. It's much harder to back it up, and through his career – And mostly he has backed it up.
Yeah.
But the league has responded. They've responded on the court schematically very well. Jay Morgan, what teams are doing packing the paint now. If Bain or Aldama or anybody's hitting threes, it loosens things up, i.e. the first quarter last night. When they're not, it is tightly compacted.
And I think that's evident at the end of games right now as well, even with Steven Adams on the court. With Steven Adams on the court, it's different late in games. The Grizzlies are one of the best late-game teams in the league with Steven Adams on the court just because of his ability to create second opportunities. Ja takes tough shots. Sometimes they go in and it's miraculous. One of the greatest finishers in the game. But sometimes they don't. And when they don't, Steven Adams is there to create a second opportunity. Yeah. And he hasn't been there on the court, so that's multiple games now, late in games, where the ball just doesn't go in the hole, and you're kind of left wondering what can you do.
He plays volleyball.
Exactly. It's exactly right. And, disappointing outcome for sure. However, a bad shooting night throughout, 39% from the field, you're in good company because the Sixers last night shot 40%. So really you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody on the floor that shot the ball well last night. Embiid was 1 of 9 in the first half. Mm-hmm. I guess James Harden had a good shooting night, but outside of that, it's a tough night altogether.
Well, and you hated to lose that game just because of Desmond Bain looked unstoppable in the first half.
Yeah, very early.
First quarter.
First quarter, But finished,
that was in peak back button.
Oh
time.
yeah. I mean, was just hitting every single shot he took in the first quarter. Finished the game 10 for 20, 4 for 12 from 3. So I mean, you think about it, 10 of those missed shots were threes. So it's you hate to lose a game like that, especially when you're up by 17. Those are games that you should win. But like you said, Jay, I mean, it's one of those things where if you have Steven Adams in there, you might have a better opportunity. You definitely have a better opportunity to win that game.
Any fear from you guys at all of the Grizzlies falling into the play-in? That would be 7 or 8 seed?
Not to the play-in, but I think outside of hosting a home game is certainly not only plausible, it's possible. More, I don't know if possible is more than plausible.
I don't either.
But
let's say it is.
Sure. I think it certainly is possible. The Clippers, whether or not you think they're better with Russell Westbrook.
Possible is more finite than plausible.
Because plausible, you could just imagine
Right.
it. Possible means there's a legitimate chance.
It's happened.
And so I think the Clippers getting better, whether or not you consider Russell Westbrook getting better, they're playing better basketball. And you have to imagine Kawhi Leonard's only going to play more down the stretch.
But 5 up on the Clippers, that's a lot with 24 remaining.
Yeah.
It is. And no, 3.5 up on the Clippers, right?
5 in the loss column.
Oh, 5 in the loss column because they have the games in hand there. You're right.
And you can make up wins. You can't make up losses.
That's a great line too. And the Suns,
Jack Buck, man.
The Suns are getting better too with the addition of Kevin Durant. Teams with Kevin Durant this year, albeit it was the Nets, have already gone on insane winning streaks. They were like 20-2 over a stretch of 22 games or something like that.
And Kevin Durant's going to be back sooner than people thought, right?
First week of March.
Wow. So, yeah,
Is
so he'll
what
be
they were
back before
saying.
you know it.
So it certainly could. I think one thing that's concerning for me is that the Sixers are now fall in line, by my count this morning, with the Lakers, the Warriors, and the Celtics now in games just since Christmas where teams are scheming their offense around the Grizzlies' great defensive scheme, which is built around Jaren Jackson Jr. being able to play strictly help side defense and block shots at the rim. They're finding the open man, and now that's not only one team that we've seen scheme around it, multiple teams that scouts out. You have to imagine that's only going to intensify down the stretch of the season and in a playoff series.
Man, you guys are smart.
No, Jay Morgan.
You're giving me too much credit, I'm afraid, Brett.
Jay Morgan knows what he's talking about. That's why we have him around.
So you don't trust. You don't have that fear either of playing.
A play-in would be, worst case scenario times 2 probably. I think what they've done so far is kind of given them that cushion. And I think a lot of this, not all of it, but I think some of it goes away when Steven Adams returns.
Are you fearful of playing? Because if you think that
is it possible or plausible?
Oh, that's the question. That's a new
good question.
segment idea we got. But if you think they're safe up 5 losses on the Clippers, then you can't be concerned with that.
I'm not. I really don't even think we'll fall out of hosting first round. So as low as I think they could go is 4. And nobody thought on opening night this was June basketball year. Okay, so things change, but now they're changing back.
Yeah,
it has a way of doing that.
Yeah. But what's your freak out level if you think they're gonna drop to the play-in? That's
I'm not there.
That's an A+ freak
close.
out. I don't know if we graded on a curve like that, but that would be A+ freak out.
Certainly with no injury, and we can't. I can't factor that in.
No,
somebody that can. You're smarter than I am.
Call in. Tell us who's going to be injured.
Man, call in. Heck, come host.
Yeah, really.
If you know when injuries are coming.
Place a large wager in Vegas.
Literally. Or tell me and I'll place it. Well, let's get to a break. Wrap up the first hour of this show. When we come back to start the 4 o'clock hour, Bruce Marshall for the Gold Sheet. That's next.
Both 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte LXS, PE 581,756, MSRP 21,985, Sorrento PG 183,422, MSRP 23,405. Includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties are limited. Powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Jeff, my man, what's going on over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah? Look, I know you got something up your sleeve to blow me away.
You bet I do, Randy. Gas prices are high, but we've got you covered with 41 MPG Highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS at $278 a month. $27.99 due at signing, and a 7-passenger SUV ready to ride in a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $378 a month. $34.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if I don't see exactly what I want,
I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Right now is a great time to take advantage of Choate's winter specials by upgrading your furnace, switching to a Rinnai tankless water heater, or getting $50 off air duct cleaning. By now, you most likely have heard of the benefits of UV light technology for your HVAC system. Purchase any new Carrier furnace right now, and we will install one for you at no additional cost. For those who have not installed a tankless water heater yet, what are you waiting on? Stop wasting utilities heating water you do not use and getting frustrated taking cold showers or baths. Right now, when you purchase a a Renai tankless water heater, Choates will install one premium toilet for free in your home. And Choates is offering $50 off its air duct cleaning services. Not only does this service get the years of dust out of your ducts, it also helps the indoor air quality you and your family breathe every day. All these specials qualify for 18 months, no interest financing with approved credit. So call 347-8086 to schedule your free estimate today. Turn to the experts with Choates and let our family serve your family.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic will not rust, but will provide the best radiant heat, keeping your food crisp on the outside and juicy on the inside. Step your flavor up with 100% natural lumpwood charcoal. Never have to add charcoal or wood during a cook again, and save money by reusing Big Green Egg lumpwood charcoal. Enjoy cooking temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. The Big Green Egg is ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes. Just ask Big Green Egg users how great the food is. Satisfaction has been our recipe for success since 1974, and our customers are our biggest testament. Come taste the difference with Big Green Egg and make your next grill your last. Available at Hamilton's Fireplace, East Memphis Ace, Cordova Ace, Germantown Hardware, and Garden Spas and Pool.
Bobby J's waiting to get your call today and put you in a new Kia from Gossett Kia Covington Pike. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway for just $278 a month in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS $27.99 due at signing. Or rule the road in luxury with 2023 Kia K5 LXS $337 a month, $31.99 due at signing, both 36-month lease. And if we don't have what you're looking for, not a problem. Bobby J will order you a new ride today. You won't pay over MSRP. And keep cruising in confidence with Kia's best-in-class warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Quote $30,000 per year, $650 acquisition fee, Forte LXS PE $581 $756, MSRP $21,985, K5 PG $201 $565, MSRP $26,805, includes all rebates and incentives, PF $695, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And to start the 4 o'clock hour, Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet joins us. Bruce, thank you so much for joining us. And we've kind of been talking a lot of college basketball because it's that type of the season. I don't think we've asked you this yet, but how many teams do you think have a legit shot to win the national championship this year?
Oh, gosh, Brian. I'd say I think at least 20 do.
Oh, wow.
That seems, that's out of the, and I only say that
you
because,
win the high award, Bruce, and I don't mean like literally high, like cannabis legal.
Well, there's only one that's going to win it. So
that's
I mean,
right.
This is, but why I say that is because this season sort of reminds me of 2014 when there really wasn't a
UConn emerged.
Team. Yeah, and UConn emerged. And at this point, 9 years ago, I wouldn't have put UConn among the top 20 teams that would have won. In fact, if you remember back, they were really fortunate to escape the first round in overtime against St. Joe's.
Yeah.
Which at that point I thought actually I might have put St. Joe's in the mix. That was one of Martelli's last really great teams. He had with the Hawks. I wouldn't have put UConn there. So that's why I say that. And I actually think health is going to have a lot to do with it. But for example, I mean, we know how good the Big 12 is this year. I think it's been a little bit overrated by some of these prognosticators and the bracketologists who seem to think every Big 12 team should be in the dance. They forget the SEC held its own in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. But, I mean, a league like the Big East, for example, I could see 5 teams out of the Big East getting to the Final Four, and then you take your chances. So, I mean, I think there's a whole bunch of teams that could do it. But like you said, in the end, it's only going to be one. So we'll see.
Yeah, and it will make for a fun tournament, and I've kind of hedged my bets both ways. I think it's wide open, but also can see on Monday night the last 2 teams remaining being Kansas and UCLA, and that's as blue-blooded, gold standard names as the sport gets.
Yeah, it could be, and even last year, nobody at this point last year thought North Carolina would get there.
That's right.
And then here we go, the Blue Bloods, and there we go, Kansas and North Carolina last year. Yeah, and the whole Final Four was Blue Bloods there with Villanova in there with Kansas.
And somewhere in there, Roy Williams got a blood transfusion, so blue.
Yeah, that's right. It was. And Duke last year, too. I mean, there's a whole bunch that could. And which is intriguing. Now, the other thing too here is now I think Alabama is probably the best team, but man, this stuff with Brandon Miller lately, and I know he scored 41 midweek in that escape at South Carolina, but the fact they struggle with South Carolina, that nobody can tell me this stuff isn't a distraction. I don't care if he scored a lot; it distracts the other guys on the team, and that's the big. A cloud hanging over Alabama right now. What direction is this going to go with Miller? Because this is not some story they're just going to be able to shove under the rug.
Yeah, it's not just any story. You're right. Bruce Marshall from the goal sheet with us last Saturday. I was in Fayetteville when I saw Nick Smith. Tomorrow it will be Nick Smith against Brandon Miller with Arkansas visiting Coleman Coliseum and Alabama, and Arkansas trying to kind of reignite its season. I don't think they're great at point guard. There are a lot of teams that have just a lot of difficulty with outside shooting, except for Purdue. There's no classic aircraft carriers out there, so it really feels wide open.
It does, and this is an interesting Arkansas situation because of Smith coming back in so late in the season, and with a ball-dominant guy, high-volume player, to fit him into rotations when you've been playing without him all season. It was going to take a few games. Now, they've looked really good the last 2, but against teams that they can beat. I mean, Florida without Castleton, and then Georgia's really been struggling on the road. So I don't want to get too carried away yet, but, Smith, if he can, he scored 26 the other night against Georgia. This guy, he's a lottery pick. Keep an eye on Arkansas. There's still time for Muss. And Muss has done this before, and they've been to the Elite Eight the last 2 years, so I wouldn't count them out yet.
Bruce, there's not a lot of people out there that can score 26 in a college basketball game.
Yeah, especially coming in cold, like he did just a couple weeks ago. And for an established lineup there, I mean, he's all of a sudden we're seeing what all the hype was about. And this is probably going to be it for him. I don't think he's sticking around Fayetteville after this year.
No. But, I don't think he'll be going to econ class in April. It might be an economics class, but it won't be at the BA in Fayetteville.
No, I quite agree.
The biggest story today in college basketball is that Ole Miss fired head coach Kermit Davis. It's an Ole Miss team that's lost 15 of their last 17 games. I mean, just really bad, poor performances from Ole Miss. I guess, with 3 games left and then I guess 1 game in the SEC tournament, do you expect them to just kind of limp to the finish line? And then what do you think Ole Miss does for that coaching role?
Well, we'll see. The portal was a little bit rough for Kermit this year. He lost a little more outflow than inflow, and that's sort of what Ole Miss is going to have to do. This is sort of fascinating here where this is going to go. The carousel hasn't really started to spin yet coaching carousel. It could. A couple of dominoes have to fall. One, what's Texas going to do? I mean, if they make a deep run here, they may not be able to move Rodney Terry out.
Could sit still.
If they do make a change, they're probably going somewhere big for a coach. Of course, we've heard these Calipari rumors. That's quieted down a bit the last couple of weeks with Kentucky starting to win again. But that happens, the dominoes could start falling in any number of directions quickly. The name, two things here with Ole Miss. Last year, we saw a lot of mid-major coaches get the call to move up, such as Matt McMahon down at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Now he did it a little. He brought all of his guys from Murray State. That hadn't worked out too well for him.
No.
But that's the way Ole Miss did it with Kermit when he brought him in from MTSU. The name out there, who I think Ole Miss is going, they'll talk about, and whether they'll do it or not, and a big name, and who could shake the foundation a bit, is Chris Beard. Yeah. Now, who is going to take a shot on Beard right now? I mean, he's been technically cleared of everything down there at Texas. They know he is a big winner. Now, would you risk it on a guy like him who you know can win at a power conference? You know what he can do. Or do you go this mid-major route again? I will bet you they're going to have, and Brett's going to be able to fill me in on this a little bit more, but they will talk about making this move for Beard, because I don't think there's going to be a long queue for Beard right now. I could be wrong, but Ole Miss wants to really make a shake-up here. You have to swing for the fences and maybe not just go for another mid-major coach trying to move up, like Dusty May from Florida Atlantic, getting a lot of buzz right now, doing a good job. But we've seen this act not work at the next level, and I think Ole Miss might try. I wouldn't be surprised if they're at least thinking about Beard.
Bruce, I have said that if I were Keith Carter, and I'm not, I'm glad I'm not in this situation because it's really a tough decision to make, I would do it. But I've also been kind of the moral police this week on Nate Oates and Greg Byrne and wondering how they have a job. I think there's a little bit of difference. We got one completely cleared legally, and we got others still in the that came out at a preliminary proceeding. That came out Tuesday at a prelim proceeding. So there's more to come there. I can sleep with being aghast at one and for the other. Bruce, do you know the Dusty May Ole Miss basketball Bruce Marshall Brett connection on that Friday night before the Alabama game? While you were at FedEx Forum gallivanting at the Grizzlies game, I was at the Ole Miss Florida Atlantic game and saw Ole Miss beat Dusty May this year.
Yes, would that be interesting if he comes back? And that was the only loss that Florida Atlantic had for a long time. Mm-hmm. May's got kind of an interesting background. I mean, at one point he was at Indiana as a student, a grad assistant, I think, or when or maybe he went to school there when Bob Knight was still there. So he might be one of the last guys, if you could call it part of the Knight tree, who will be out there. But he's got Florida Atlantic on the map. Keep in mind, Florida Atlantic moves up next year into the American, but they do not have a really nice arena there like they have a nice football stadium. Yeah. So the Ole Miss new arena is wonderful there. So he might look at that and say, I'd rather be here than Boca Raton in the arena.
A football coach that did that.
Yeah, that's right. There's the Lane Kiffin connection, so that it could happen there. But we will see. I'm not sure Ole Miss wants to go in the mid-major direction again, but May is certainly going to have his name mentioned in a lot of places.
And Wes Miller, who will have his Cincinnati Bearcat team here on Sunday, there's some traction talk out there about him. I'll ask it point blank. If you're the coach at Cincinnati, would you leave Cincinnati that's getting ready to head to the Big 12 to go take the basketball job at Ole Miss?
Maybe not. I don't know that I would, because Ole Miss, you're coming into the SEC and it's tough. It depends what the dollars are. I don't think that's a step up hoop-wise. And frankly, Miller hasn't gotten it going too well at Cincinnati. And again, his success came. I know he's got North Carolina roots, but I mean at Greensboro they won. But I'm wondering now about his whole hire at Cincinnati was based on when he was at Greensboro, and it's not working quite as well at Cincy. So, I mean, these guys who win at mid-majors, I don't know if you got a chance at a guy who has won big at the top level. I think that's where you look first. That's just my own opinion.
Yeah. Talking to Bruce Marshall of the Gold Sheet. Bruce, we got some really good college basketball games this weekend, but the one I'm probably looking forward to the most tomorrow night, kind of a late night game here in Memphis. St. Mary, number 15 St. Mary's going on the road to number 12 Gonzaga. St. Mary's got Gonzaga earlier, but I think the Zags have been playing better late. The offense seems to be rolling a little bit more. Seems like some of those transfers are giving them better minutes now as they're getting a little more comfortable. What do you think about this Gonzaga team as we get closer to tournament time? And then what do you think about that game tomorrow night?
Well, I still think they've got some issues down low and on defense and on the boards, but they've got so much firepower. They had jumped out to a big lead in that first game against St. Mary's, and they let St. Mary's back in it, and then they got them in overtime. It is rare for St. Mary's. St. Mary's has beaten Gonzaga before, but to sweep them during the regular season, that would be kind of uncommon. And the revenge angle, and the fact Few and Randy Bennett do not like each other, that's pretty well known out on the West Coast. So I think you'll get the best of what Gonzaga's got. Listen, St. Mary's is a really tough team here, but I'd be a little concerned. Last week they had a game down in San Diego where they went like the last 10 minutes. They scored 2 points. They didn't score at all the last 7 minutes. They barely hung on to win. You'd never see Gonzaga this year go on that sort of a drought. I kind of think the Zags get them tomorrow, but St. Mary's, these teams could both be protected seeds. I mean, Zags could move up to the 3 line in the dance. St. Mary's could be on the 4 line. And if it wins tomorrow, I think St. Mary's definitely would be, no matter what happens in the WCC tournament coming up here in 2 weeks.
Bruce, the economics of college sports, we see it with all the conference realignment. It feels like it's a bubble that can never burst, just money and rights fees everywhere. But we already see some underpinnings financially around sports and writ large in the economy. I'm not asking you to be Milton Friedman. I just want your opinion from the sports angle on this. We see the regional Bally's with their news. I think it will particularly hit baseball, and some reports are the Cardinals very hard. You also see from the radio side of things some really shaky things out there nationally on Cumulus and on Odyssey, and they have a lot of rights fees of teams. Could we be approaching the iceberg with rights fees and money around sport?
Maybe so, and I guess Brett, we've been all conditioned throughout the last decades to think this thing just keeps going up and up and up and up, and rights fees go where they do, and who knows what financing some of these companies have done.
Too big to fail.
Too big to fail, and what they're borrowing against and what the whole deal financially is with it. But I think that's kind of a risk here. And it certainly could impact. Yeah, baseball's got something to think about here, because there's a lot, and that's I had sort of misunderstood at the start the whole Bally's thing there. I thought it was just sort of a billboard thing with Bally's when they bought their name was on all these regional Fox Sports channels, but I guess it was a little bit deeper than that. And now they're having trouble coming up with it. So there's a lot of teams that could be impacted by this. I don't shed a tear though, because this is just at some point you can get a little too greedy with this stuff. Yeah, you're a little too greedy with this stuff, and maybe they need it. This is maybe an overdue course correction. But I think you're right, Brett. This might be the iceberg. If they haven't hit it like the Titanic, they're getting close to it. Maybe.
I had a Cardinals friend tell me probably won't happen, but we could look up and not have any place for radio or TV coming up in 6 weeks.
Yeah, maybe. Now, the MLB has said they're going to step in here and do something, and I think this is see, I wish Rob Manfred would worry about this stuff instead of his
how large the bases are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these things these bases look like pizza boxes out there now. So, but they're scrambling, and MLB a little bit more than the other ones, because these regional, the regional ones, a little bit more of their hands in it than they are with, say, the NFL and college. And college. Yeah.
Bruce, I'm just curious about, obviously the XFL started last week. This is going to be their second week. USFL coming up. I think in April's when they start off. We'll have the Memphis Showboats here. But do you look at any of these games? Do you put anything out for these games? And what do you think about spring football?
I don't, and just because I'm too tired at my age to do it now, I will say there's two thoughts I have. One, I used to, and in fact, you're talking to one of the guys who actually did a USFL publication, the real USFL.
Wow.
We had a USFL Gold Sheet in the 80s, and I remember writing that.
That's beautiful.
The difference, and even the WFL back in the 70s. The difference between those leagues and these now, and why these things, I mean, if they survive, it's just, I don't know that there's that voracious appetite just for football all the time. But the USFL, especially USFL and the WFL, when they started, they didn't regard themselves as a minor league. They weren't some offshoot of the NFL. They were taking them on. And the original USFL concept I thought was really interesting in the 80s because there was none of this feel of just second tier. I mean, at least that wasn't what they were projecting. It may have actually been that, but when you go out and you sign the Heisman winner,
yeah,
3 straight years.
3 years in a row, Herschel, Mike Rozier, Doug Flutie.
And Doug Flutie, yeah. And you bring, Steve Young. I mean, Jim Kelly went there. I mean,
Reggie White.
I mean, and the big, that draft that had Marino and John Elway in it back in '83, and that did not include a bunch of guys who had signed, with the USFL, which would have been an all-time draft. So they were competing on even terms, and I don't think for mass appeal, any sort of a minor league has that much mass appeal. So if the new look XFL and the USFL, which I think is still playing games in Birmingham this year, I mean, that's studio football.
And in Memphis. Bruce, who's your favorite USFL figure from the day? Coach, player, executive, who's your favorite person? Most colorful?
Well, I guess I could say Trump, because when he took over the Generals there, I mean, it was he sort of kept that league afloat the last year with the thought he was trying to force his way into the NFL then, and New York proper was open because the Jets had just moved out to the Meadowlands and the Giants had already been there. And I think, and that's where the Generals played too. But Yankee Stadium was sitting there, and I think he was hoping the NFL would bring the Generals along. That's what I had always heard. And when all that lawsuit was just for him to get in the NFL, didn't happen, and it kind of blew up in its face. But I thought, in truth, and looking back, a lot of names, guys. I mean, Jim Mora really became a name there, and they did. He had great success. They won two of the 3 championships he won, and lost in the final game of the other. Long term, Jacksonville, even though the Bulls didn't have a great amount of success, that convinced the NFL that maybe there's a market there. And that was sort of the seeds of the Jaguars were planted with the Bulls, with Matt Robinson at quarterback.
And Larry Zonka as general manager.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
That's right. Absolutely.
And Bruce, mine's easy. Right here in Memphis, Pepper Rogers, if for no other reason, he bought me a beer one night.
Yeah. Pepper there too.
Good reason.
I shouldn't forget.
Pepper bought a lot of people beer.
Oh, he did. Oh, one other. I mean, Steve Spurrier. I mean,
great one.
That's where he really got his foot in the door there. So yeah, I mean, that was serious. This league is not right now. I mean, it's definitely minor, and I think that's going to limit the appeal of it on a broad base.
Bruce, great weekend ahead, college and pro in the NBA and in college basketball. Tell our listeners how they can get more information about you and from you.
Yeah, check us out online, goldsheet.com. We're going to have a lot of college hoops tomorrow and some NBA too, writing up the games. It's a good weekend. We're a week away from the earliest conference tournament starting, just a little over 2 weeks from Selection Sunday.
We got ASUN Monday.
Huh.
Yes, that's right. ASUN starts Monday, and we got up on VegasInsider.com. I do updated brackets and some fade and shade to watch this weekend. But the publication at goldsheet.com, my picks there also at Vegas Insider and DonBest.com.
Great deal, Bruce. Have a great weekend. Good luck
Thanks,
to you.
Bruce.
Okay, boys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bruce Marshall with us every Friday from the Gold Sheet, and you hear that big brain on display right there. On display at Olive Branch are all those beautiful Chevrolet cars all this week and into next week at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. First exit into Mississippi. That's Kraft Goodman Road. Find your new Chevy Silverado or Equinox and get financing as low as 2.99%. Ask for Jeff, ask for Kevin, ask for any member of their great team about the incentive that'll get you $750 off your purchase price of any new Chevy just for owning a 2009 or newer non-GM car or truck. You don't have to trade it, just own it, plus a lot of customer cash back. All that can add up to as much as $3,250 right now. If you're a first responder, educator, military, healthcare worker, you get another $500. Kevin and Jeff want to thank all of you who are bringing your cars, your trucks, your SUVs down to Olive Branch to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch and selling them to All-Star Chevrolet. Easiest place to get a check today for great cash, even if you owe money against it. For service, call and ask for Sean, ask for Jeff, and remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Mount Moriah, Collierville, or Bartlett. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
We need to get to a break. When we come back, we'll go over to Fort Smith, Arkansas, and talk to Ty Richardson about the Razorbacks. That's next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Tiger fans, Memphis returns to FedEx Forum to face American Conference rival Cincinnati Sunday, February 26 at 1. Come watch the Tigers continue to work toward back-to-back NCAA appearances and their second-to-last home game of the regular season. The first 6,000 fans receive a free blue T-shirt. Get there early to enjoy pregame wrestling outside the main entrance. Sunday, February 26 at 1 against Cincinnati. Wear blue and go Tigers go.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkhardt, Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Thinking about a newer used car or truck and not sure where to get the most for your money? Listen to what Sunrise has to offer. Over 800 new Buicks and GMCs to choose from with factory rebates up to $1,000 and $15 million used car inventory, specializing in cars and trucks under $15,000. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, it's okay. At Sunrise, we specialize in secondary finance. The #1 volume Buick GMC dealer in the Mid-South and home of the guaranteed credit approval. Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and the market is starting to crank back up. While we had a slowdown late last year, the rates are coming down and I'm seeing multiple offers again. And if you want to participate in 2023, think of me. Do not list your home without talking to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, and make sure that Kelly Erb and I are one of them. I've had people say that I must feel confident to tell people that, and yes, I do. We have a highly successful strategic marketing program that can make the difference in how much you make and when. Find out why people often say that when you want the job done, call Sheldon at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Or you can also call my marketing partner, Kelly Erb, at 355-3830.
Call me, Kelly Erb, at 355-3830 or Sheldon at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. Remember, call me, Kelly Erb, at 355-3830.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-585-8282. 800-585-8282. That's 800-585-8282.
It may be cold, but the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event will heat you up. Discover a new way to ride in your 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage and get 39 MPG combined for $17,520 or $289 a month and 0 down. And check out 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport for $29 a month, 29 MPG Highway, or get 2.9 for 36 months. Want peace of mind? We Gossett with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage, $289 per month. 2023 Outlander Sport, $429 per month. You won't go wrong ever when you shop Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com. You want it? We Gossett at Gossett Mitsubishi.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Mirage PHW 2846, MSRP 18020, Sport PU 2230, MSRP 29545, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you, and now joining us from ESPN Fort Smith over in Arkansas, Ty Richardson joins us now to talk some Razorbacks. Ty, it's been kind of up and down for the Razorbacks this season, but they've now won 2 in a row. What is the excitement level over in Arkansas right now for the Rebels?
We're going
down
to
Rebels, Razorbacks, I guess.
Yeah, you're good. We're going down to Tuscaloosa, and we're going to do some damage. Now, I don't know, man. I mean, you're going up against the best team in the country, I think, in Alabama, and we know how great Brandon Miller played on Wednesday night. The question only is, should he have been playing or not? But it's going to be a daunting task ahead of them, starting at 1 o'clock, and just hoping they can compete. Sure, it's nice to have Nick Smith Jr. back.
Yeah,
and he is special. He's different. I told these guys on Monday, first thing I said, and it wasn't some trained eye, because I'm not claiming that I have that. In fact, I think anybody walking in off the street, off Razorback Drive, could have walked into Bud Walton Arena last weekend when he was out there, go, oh, yeah, that player right there is different from all the rest.
Stats, don't sell yourself short, man. You've been doing this a long time.
It's still trained eye.
You got some good knowledge. Yeah, Nick's different. I mean, there's a reason every NBA mock draft you look at, he's up there really close to his teammate Anthony Black, who's had a great season as a true freshman. I just hope Nick doesn't try and do too much tomorrow. I know he wants this one bad. Him and Brandon Millers are buddies. He talked about that earlier this week. I'm just ready for an exciting game. And I know Arkansas is not ranked, but this will be a game that's very much worth your 2 hours of watching, not just if you're a Crimson Tide or Razorback fan.
I think it will be too, and we know tomorrow. And let's be clear about something. It would be every fan base in the country tomorrow with player introductions. I will predict now as rousing an ovation and cheer and go get them, you're ours for Brandon Miller as you'll see this year in college sports.
It's hard to disagree with that. I would say Nate Oates is probably going to get the same amount, if not more, applause. I mean, Alabama's really sticking to their I almost said something I usually would say, but not in this situation. You know what I was insinuating unintentionally, but that's just how it is. And I do wonder, you bring up something interesting, Brett. If this happened in Oxford, or this happened in Fayetteville, or it happened on the campus in Memphis, what the reaction from the fan base
Same
would
one.
be like?
Brian, wouldn't it be? I mean, we love ours. And in sports, we've gotten so very tribalistic, so dug in, out there at almost cult-like level of fandom that I call it the son-in-law theory. He might not be any good, but he's my son-in-law.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty psychopathic when it comes to Razorback basketball, really any Razorback sport.
I am too.
Specifically this. I'm excited to see where not only the Razorbacks end up in the NCAA tournament, but a lot of SEC teams vying to play postseason. And it's going to be an interesting 3 games remaining in conference play. And then Nashville, to me, is wide open with how that thing could shake out in the SEC tournament.
Sure is. It really could be some intrigue there. Most bracketologists, it's 8 from the SEC, whether that's deserving or not. It looks like it's going to be that number, largely because we have to have 68 in the field. Arkansas is a net darling. They may not be ranked in AP, but they're sitting there at 15, 16 in the net.
You got to give credit to assistant coach Anthony Arruda. He's the one that constructs this schedule, and he hit the nail on the head on a bunch of non-conference opponents that are fighting to win their conference, is not about to win their conference, in addition to going to Maui. So Arkansas is in a unique spot because they haven't been this high typically in the net in years under Muss, but they're sure sticking to that right now as we have 3 games left remaining in regular season play.
Well, you just talked about the SEC and the tournament. How many teams do you think realistically get into the tournament? Because, I mean, there's a couple on the bubble right now, but kind of grand total, how many do you think make the dance?
I would say probably 6 or 7. I don't know if it's going to get quite to 8. Maybe I'm underestimating the conference overall, but I know Mississippi State, I think it's 6 and 9 right now. They have some work to do as some other teams. Kentucky's really come on as of late. That's who Arkansas ends the season with. But, I mean, you look at this Saturday, some of the matchups ahead, I think there's a lot of teams that can still have a major impact on where they end up. It's just a matter of, hey, can you get it done in these next couple games?
You want to hear how psychotic I am about it?
Let's hear it, Brad. I'm ready, man. Bring it.
I'm going to SEC 13 versus SEC 14 tomorrow night in Oxford. I'm going to LSU Ole Miss.
Oh,
with
man.
With an interim coach and a first-year coach.
Love it.
Yeah, I saw the news this morning that Kermit Davis had been let go. And I asked that question, Brad. I'll kind of retool it to you. What I mean, with Ole Miss's proximity to Memphis, and I know the football program's had a lot of recent success, why hasn't the basketball team taken off like the baseball team and the football team has?
It's just historically has been a scuffle for a long time. The easy excuse, and it wasn't entirely inaccurate, was Tad Smith Coliseum. Well, that's been well removed with a great place to play, a great place to practice, budget considerations for everything. Look, it's in the SEC. Everybody just got a check for $49 million last week. Everybody's doing well. But also this time, it may be exclusively this in the SEC. Maybe Vanderbilt. Football's 1, baseball's 2, basketball's 3.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another school that's like that, and nothing's coming to mind.
Not even LSU with that prominent baseball program. Baseball is not 2 there. Basketball's 2, and it has quite a rich tradition. Man, it's Pete Maravich and Shaq O'Neal.
Yeah, Dale Brown.
Exactly.
I mean, even Will Wade had
couple Final Fours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tyrus Thomas. I guess that would have been John Brady that took that team back in the day, right?
Shady took that team to the Final Four, and Dale Brown had 2 Final Four teams, 81 and 86.
Golly, yeah, LSU, man, Baton Rouge is the best. Stats, I know you've done this, and Brian, I know this is probably something you want to do as well, just to go to every SEC town. Yeah. I've been to Baton Rouge, been to Oxford, Fayetteville, Columbia, and Athens, and Auburn, and Starkville and others, but I still got a few that I need to cross off.
What's your the places you've been? What's your favorite Friday night vibe town?
Baton Rouge. It's not close.
It's way up there. It sure is.
And listen, I had no experience of it until
Mine's
2
Athens.
Years ago.
Athens is my favorite. It's my favorite place to go to a game.
And Athens is number 2 for me, Brett. We had a great time down there. We went to some pig bar because a lot of Hog fans were going. Then I think the fact that Arkansas lost 36-0 in the former fashion that they did may have
that was 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it may have taken some wins out of the sails, but Athens is a heck of a spot, man. Most bars per capita in like the United States. There are some beautiful women that roam the streets of Athens, Georgia.
And Ty, a good Little Rock boy like you got to like that one of the main streets in Athens is Pulaski. It's easy to remember, like Pulaski County.
Yes, sir. Pulaski County, born and raised. You know it, Brad.
That's it. I would say LSU is probably – now, I'm saying Oxford excluded. Oxford is my favorite and always was, even before I worked for them, for Vibe, for Friday Night Scene, Grove, and all that. But I would say of the others, Georgia 1 and then LSU 2. I guess Bama 3.
See, I've been to Tuscaloosa, guys, and that's something I'm planning on going to this fall when Arkansas heads in there. No Bryce Young, no Will Anderson. Maybe they got a shot with KJ and Rocket. But I got to get me a yellow hammer at Galette's, and I've got to have some barbecue at some point on that trip.
They'll sure serve it to you.
I can't wait, man.
Ty, I guess I'll ask you this because you obviously are around Arkansas, but you obviously keep up with the SEC very closely, but also kind of the state of Arkansas kind of right there between the SEC and the Big 12. We were talking about kind of what coach could go in to Ole Miss, and a name that was thrown out by Jay Morgan was Wes Miller up at Cincinnati. If you were the head coach at Cincinnati, would you or do you think Wes Miller would leave Cincinnati going into the Big 12 for a job like Ole Miss?
You know what? The terrain of the Big 12, even with Texas and Oklahoma leaving, is going to be mightily difficult. Now, Oklahoma doesn't have a good basketball team this year, but Texas does. We know that. It's not easy. And the SEC is not exactly too far behind the Big 12 in terms of conference basketball. I mean, I think Cincinnati's a really good job. Mick Cronin was having success there. Wes Miller.
Huggins.
I think it's a solid job. Now, is it better than Ole Miss? I think that's a better question for stats, but I don't know. It depends on where he's from. That I always look back to where's the guy from, where is recruiting roots? Because if you don't know how to recruit in the South, like it's difficult. Like Brian Kelly lost a 5-star in-state left tackle or something because he didn't eat his mom's gumbo because he didn't know. Like he didn't know Southern culture. Like when you go to someone's house, you eat. And he didn't know. It takes some time to adapt, I think.
And you got to tell the mothers that was the best gumbo I've ever had, Mrs. So and So. You got to tell them. You got to tell them all that. We're visiting with Ty Richardson, our good friend from ESPN Radio in Fort Smith, on all things Razorbacks and all things the SEC. I know it's not Ole Miss, and it was once a time that I would answer this question. I'm going to ask you, Arkansas. I don't think I would answer it Arkansas anymore. The best trio: football, basketball, baseball. Right now in the SEC, who can say we're number one with trio? Great football, great basketball, great baseball coach.
So you're saying you can't say Arkansas anymore?
I can. You can. I say Tennessee now.
Yeah, I mean, you go Vitello, Barnes, and
Heupel.
I can't disagree with you there. I mean, Hooker and company were unbelievable this year. That is one of the biggest tragedies of last season. It's the fact that Hendon Hooker tore his ACL and wasn't in New York. I was adamant that kid deserved to be there. And then you hear these reports that he's climbing the draft boards just because of how he talks to owners and GMs.
Yeah,
They're like,
he's selling himself.
Is there anything you can't like about this kid? So, yeah, Tennessee, it's there. Arkansas's had it at points throughout the SEC. And
it's right there.
It's close.
And then, Ty, you go Big Four. You go AD, football coach, basketball coach, baseball coach. Tennessee's there with Danny White. Arkansas sure there with Hunter.
Yeah, you got the highest paid AD in the SEC, and I think he's top 7 in Danny White. Hunter's got a raise when he got looked at by the Auburn job. So here's my thing, Brad, and I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it on y'all's airwaves. I think when that thing blows up in College Station with Ross Bjork and Jimbo Fisher, I think they're going to take a hard look at Hunter Yurachek, and I think they're going to offer him some fat money. And I'm curious to see if Hunter turns that away, if he stays put in Fayetteville, or if he jumps ships to go to College Station.
What if they went team Yurachek Kiffin?
Oh,
because Hunter almost hired Lane at Houston. Remember?
That's correct. And that was also Lane Kiffin was a viable candidate for this Arkansas job. A lot of Arkansans thought he was going to take that said job. And I think Lane would have had success in Fayetteville like he's having success in Oxford. I think he fits Oxford more than he does Fayetteville, just because the frattish like Tennessee at times. Mm-hmm. But he's a heck of a football coach. Guy's offensively gifted as I'll get out, and he knows how to coach the quarterback position better than most.
Ty, last thing real quick before you were up against a break, but going into Alabama tomorrow for Arkansas, this is an Alabama team that really defends extremely well. They're one of the best teams defensively inside the three-point line. What does Arkansas have to do offensively to beat Alabama?
I think you just got to spread the ball around. This team has shown in the last couple of games that there's a lot of guys that can score. Against Alabama last time, it was Jalen Graham that had the big one. Maybe Nick Smith can go off tomorrow. We know Anthony Black's capable. Devo Davis can have a good game. You just have to trust your teammates. Alabama, one of the best rebounding teams in the country. They're long. Bediako's 7 feet. Clowney's 6'10". Miller's 6'9". You have to move the basketball against these guys, because if you don't, it's going to be a block party, and Bama's going to walk away happy and win their another consecutive game and another game in Coleman Coliseum.
Should be a fun one. But, Ty, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the game tomorrow, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Ty.
Thanks,
Thank you very much. Ty Richardson with us from ESPN Radio in Northwest Arkansas and Fort Smith on all things Hogs and all things SEC. It's time for our Ghoul Style segment. Go to GhoulSalonSpa.com for the best gift you can get for any reason, whether it's holiday or any day, just to say thank you, I care, I love you, any reason. You can get that Ghouls gift card at GhoulSalonSpa.com. Over 90 years, 91 years to be exact, of distinction, exclusive to our area. The best holiday gift card for any time is that Ghouls gift card for any season. The best spa packages, salon products, and those gift cards are always the hit. Ghouls Salon and Spa, they've been turning heads since 1932. Yeah, that's 91 years. It's a family affair with sons and grandsons and granddaughters and valuable associates, from a small hair salon to today's juggernaut, upscale ambiance, chic style that once was considered a Hollywood luxury. We have it all the time right here with all our locations, from downtown to out east, one near you. And the website is real close to you, GhoulSalonSpa.com. Go there for the Ghouls gift card. The best holiday gift for any season is a Ghouls gift card. My Ghouls style today is the return last night back to the NBA. Tough one for the Grizzlies in Philly, but to have the games back, and we're going to see the jockeying, the seeding. Unfortunately, Grizzlies may have to fall a little, then maybe get back up there. But tomorrow night, the West will show itself at FedEx Forum. Denver in town with the MVP against the Grizzlies.
My style of the week, I'm going to give it to Demarie Franklin. I think you go back to last week's game against UCF, kind of the game-sealing, the game-winning layup after kind of poking the ball free. He played better against Houston.
He sure did.
They made some really big plays last night against Wichita State down stretch. I know a lot of people want to talk Jonathan Lawson, but Demarie Franklin, he doesn't make a couple of those shots late. You don't win that game.
How much y'all think he may be unlocked, freed up now, knowing that he's going to get a little more playing time with the absence of Kennedy? Is there anything there? Am I looking too rosy, too half full?
I think there's stuff there. I also think
I've already sold Sunshine to winning all the way out
You
through
have.
the AAC tournament.
He's a candidate to replace that role, certainly.
I think that, Dave has talked all season about Demarie and his confidence, and I think getting that confidence against UCF and having that confidence continue to build now with that injury, definitely, you have more hope that he can become somebody with Keontae out. But let's get to a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Hey, Zeke, how's it going? Oh, it's going great. Look, I just started the Central Barbecue Diet. Haven't heard of it. Well, then, I tell you what. You just sit down right there, and I will tell you everything that you need to know about the Central Barbecue Diet. Eating Central Barbecue exclusively has not been shown in clinical studies to reduce weight. Eating a diet of exclusively Central Barbecue has not been proven to make you more popular, attractive, and intelligent, although it almost certainly would. Plus, you know what? Who am I to tell you how to live your life? Do what you want. Take up golf. Get a puppy. Learn to crochet. Eat Central Barbecue 3 meals a day. It's your life. Don't let some disclaimer guy on a Central Barbecue commercial tell you what to do. You're a person. Live your life. Eat barbecue.
Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is now currently hiring all positions. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, please apply today. Choate's is offering huge sign-on bonuses to seasoned technicians, plumbers, installers, and air duct cleaners. At Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, we offer a career, not just a job, by putting you in a paid training program to develop your technical and customer service skills to best serve our customers. Choate's offers top pay in the Mid-South, weekly pay, paid vacation and holidays, company matching retirement account, health, dental, vision, and life insurance, and Christmas, Thanksgiving, and birthday bonuses. If this sounds like an exciting opportunity for you, then we should talk. So call us at 347-8086 or apply online at ChoatesHVAC.com under the careers link. Come, join our family.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. You've known the name for 30 years. You might even remember him from nearly 20 years on Kix 106 as half of the Young and Elder Show. Now, 13 years later, Brian Elder is the largest purchaser of Owens Corning shingles in Memphis. Call him right now, 867-0303. Certified and trained by Owens Corning to earn a reputation for quality and expertise matched by no one. Don't let them tell you it has to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. Call right now, 867-0303. He'll climb every inch of your roof. He'll go into your attic and run a moisture and ventilation test using state-of-the-art equipment to make certain you're protected from mold and other contaminants. You may be causing respiratory problems for your family and not even know it. We're waiting for your call, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Bobby J's waiting to get your call today and put you in a new Kia from Gossett Kia Covington Pike. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway for just $278 a month in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS $27.99 due at signing. Or rule the road in luxury with 2023 Kia K5 LXS $337 a month, $31.99 due at signing, both 36-month lease. And if we don't have what you're looking for, not a problem. Bobby J will order you a new ride today. You won't pay over MSRP. And keep cruising in confidence with Kia's best-in-class warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
$30,000 per year, $650 acquisition fee, Forte LXS PE 581 756, MSRP 21,985, K5 PG 201565, MSRP 26805, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties are limited. Powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder, and it's time for Big Number of the Day.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
I'm sorry, Jay. We're short on time. I had to throw it to you quick, Jay. I'm sorry.
Understandably. I think Bryant needs time. You want to go first?
Yeah, I need some time.
I would love to go first today, actually.
Please.
My number is very simple today. First of all, I smile every time I hear my sound.
I love it.
So I'm so excited by it.
Dude, there's so much breaking news happening
I like
right
the
now.
part that almost puts me in the trance.
That's at the beginning.
Yeah,
and then at the end, it
that's
sounds like a lot
Donkey
of
Kong.
The original Donkey
Yeah.
Kong arcade game music. My big number today is 133. Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic went on the floor together playing for the Mavs. Their offensive rating is 133. That sounds complicated. Offensive rating is calculated using all these offensive metrics. It's essentially your points per 100 possessions. So that's, in layman's terms, 133 points per 100 possessions. The best offensive rating in the NBA right now, the Nuggets, 117.7. Theirs is 26 points higher than that when those two guys are on the court
and that
together.
plays into more realization of a possible slide for the Grizzlies. Is this West? And got Dallas 2 more times?
I believe so, yeah.
The Grizzlies.
Back to back.
My big number is Grizzly related. It's 72. 72% free throw shooting. That's dead last. That's 30 out of 30 in the NBA preseason. When we were talking about this year, some of the shortcomings of this team. Well, one thing was seasoning. A few more laps around the track. The other was free throw shooting. Hadn't been addressed. 72% dead last in the league.
And everyone wants to pin that on Steven Adams being a poor free throw shooter, too. He hadn't played in a few weeks now, and it's gotten no better.
John's got to be more automatic.
That's right.
He's going to be there a lot.
I changed my big number on the fly, and just like Tom Parker in Vegas, I did my math on a napkin.
Colonel Tom.
That's right. 302 is my big number of the day. That is if you add up the length of the 2 spring training games we had today, that is how long they lasted. Jeff Passan tweeted about both of them. The Padres-Mariners game lasted 2 hours and 29 minutes. The Rangers-Royals game lasted 2 hours, 33 minutes. Now, this is spring training, so it's different, but they're using the pitch clock. I watched the first 3 or so innings of the Mariners game, and I really liked it. I didn't think it changed at all. We've kind of seen it in the past with Redbirds games. If anything, I think you're gonna see a lot more of this where it's shorter games. I don't think it's gonna have that big of an effect.
I want to see it enforced in July.
Yeah.
I want to see it enforced in October.
That's what I was about to say.
That's the big one.
Brian, you, for the people that are not watching on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, you kind of had an exciting jump on your chair at the beginning of this segment because you saw some breaking news.
We have breaking news. Do you know what it is?
I just saw it, too. I think we need to say it.
Go for it. I'm going to let you. You're producer extraordinaire.
Tennessee has suspended head coach Tony Vitello while the university officials handle a program violation.
So much for my big 3.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's
crazy.
That's
I jinxed
not good.
them, didn't I?
Yeah, you sure did jinx them. So we'll probably talk a little bit more of this in what's trending. Hopefully we can get some more information about this because that's not good at all. I mean, and it was a spur of the moment. They said before the first pitch of this game.
Hire Chris Beard right
now.
Nobody will notice. We can sneak it.
Get it on paper.
He could coach tomorrow night against LSU. Nobody will notice.
Nobody will notice at all. I mean, breaking news all over the place in the sports world. But that's all the time we got in this second hour. Let's get to a break. When we come back, we will talk some Tiger basketball with Jason Munch from the Commercial Appeal.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone, Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic will not rust, but will provide the best radiant heat, keeping your food crisp on the outside and juicy on the inside. Step your flavor up with 100% natural lumpwood charcoal. Never have to add charcoal or wood during a cook again, and save money by reusing Big Green Egg lumpwood charcoal. Enjoy cooking temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. The Big Green Egg is ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes. Just ask Big Green Egg users how great the food is. Satisfaction has been our recipe for success since 1974, and our customers are our biggest testament. Come taste the difference with Big Green Egg and make your next grill your last. Available at Hamilton's Fireplace, East Memphis Ace, Cordova Ace, Germantown Hardware, and Garden Spas and Pool.
Both 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte LXS, PE 581,756, MSRP 21,985, Sorrento PG 183,422, MSRP 23,405. Includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/23 with approved credit, dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Jeff, my man, what's going on over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah? Look, I know you got something up your sleeve to blow me away.
You bet I do, Randy. Gas prices are high, but we've got you covered with 41 MPG Highway in your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS at $278 a month, $27.99 due at signing, and a 7-passenger SUV ready to ride in a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $378 a month, $34.99 due at signing. Both 36-month lease.
Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if I don't see exactly what I want,
I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And as we start the 3 o'clock or the 5 o'clock hour, our third hour, like we do every Friday, we talk to Jason Munn from the Commercial Appeal. He's on the Tiger Beat. Jason, thanks for joining us like you do every week. And I want to start because I know you were in Wichita last night. We've heard the stories. Please tell me this trip was a smooth trip to Wichita and back.
No.
Oh,
no.
my God.
I wish I could tell you that, but
Jason.
I'm pretty sure I woke up on a different planet this morning.
I bet.
So like it was cold in Wichita, and it's been cold in Wichita before. Last year,
New Year's Day,
played,
then.
Yeah, they played on New Year's Day, and it was like a sleet storm. Like it wasn't a proper ice storm. But it wasn't a snowstorm either. It was like kind of a wintry mixed storm. Let's just say that. And like it was very cold, but it wasn't like an abnormal cold. And it wasn't abnormally cold in my opinion until this morning. Now, part of this is on me. I scheduled a 6 a.m. flight out of Wichita after a 6 p.m. game, which 3.5 hours sleep, anybody's going to be kind of
late February.
Yeah, right. Like anybody's going to be kind of like on edge or whatever. But when I walked out of the hotel at, I forget, it was like 4:30 this morning. It was 1 below, and it was like the driest cold I think I've ever felt. And the first 10-15 steps or so to through the parking lot was like, dang, this is cold. And then the rest of the it very quickly turned from that to I'm being attacked here.
Yeah,
like Mother Nature is like her wrath. Like I'm feeling it, and so I ran, and my tear ducts were raging. I mean, I was crying like you would not believe, just tears streaming down my face involuntarily, like I've never experienced before in my life. Now, outside of that, perfectly fine trip.
Got home safely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like the flights were smooth. I actually had dinner with my mother-in-law who lives in Wichita. Nice. When I got there Wednesday, and then I had lunch with with Wichita State's new CFO and senior associate athletic director, who I spent many years covering at Southern Miss. He's now at Wichita State, so I had lunch with him on yesterday. So it was a really good trip. I always enjoy.
And you got a lot of TV time last night too, Jason.
My mother and father let me know that.
Yep.
Like they don't. It's weird. Like sometimes I get more TV time than other games, and I never hear from them. And then there are times where they act like they've never seen me before in their lives, and like post about it on Facebook.
Do we have any correlation of your TV time and Tigers' win rate?
Ooh.
That would be wow.
I think you should just claim it. Who's going to check you, Jason?
Really?
I don't know. I don't know about that one, but yeah. There was it's not like, I will say this, like I got more TV time. I've had more TV time at Wichita State before. There was one time where I was seated literally directly behind the broadcast team, and I kind of got in trouble because I was fresh on the beat. Like it was my first season, and I knew that I was on camera, and like sometimes I get a little bit silly when I get tired, and so I started kind of hamming it up, and my wife was like, you gotta cut that out. You gotta be a little bit more professional than that. But anyway, no, my parents made sure that I knew that I was on TV last night.
Why are the Tigers' wins more of a feeling of relief than just checking off another win? Now 21-7. Why have all these games, been so angst-filled?
Oh gosh.
Or are they? Or am I misreading that? Tell me.
No, you're not misreading that at all. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I guess the easiest answer is the one that we've all kind of come to accept with Penny Hardaway teams is they play up and down in their competition. Yeah. Like I do think that there is an element of truth to that, but like on the other hand, like Wichita State is not a bad basketball.
Sure not.
They're just not. They're not a bad basketball team.
They weren't here, and they sure weren't last night.
Yeah, I was talking to their SID last night, and I was like, you guys have players. Obviously, you have Greg Porter. You have Jaquan Walton, who's your leading scorer. Say what you want about Rojas, who's like only averaging 9 points a game, but every time he plays Memphis, he just gets on a heater. His career high is 19 points. He's done that 3 times in his career, and it's a pretty long career. twice have come against Memphis.
Love
twice.
it.
Now, so you got him. And the way he put it was, we have 4.5 players. We just don't have, outside of the four, Kenny Poto is another one who's pretty good. But they just don't have enough, I guess, to make them a legitimate threat, like a team like Tulane. They don't quite have enough to be as dangerous as Tulane. So, and of course it's on the road and it's cold outside, and I don't know. I mean, and then of course the news that dropped right before the game yesterday that they were going to be, no pun intended here, shorthanded for the rest of the year because of Keontae Kennedy's emotional decision, impulsive decision.
Wall wins, fans win, walls win
every time.
Windshields win
every single time. Now, I mean, at least whoever did it at the Forum last year, I think it was after the Murray State game. If you guys remember the the plexiglass doors leading to the locker room that were, that somebody punched and it was shattered. At least whoever did that had the sense to do that as opposed to a solid wall. There's not much more give, I guess, to a plexiglass.
Yeah, find sheetrock.
Yeah, exactly. At least give yourself a chance. I mean, you've got a 50-50 shot with some sheetrock that you won't hit a stud.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
It's got to be higher than 50-50, Jason, on most walls.
Yeah, I don't know. It was, so I don't know why.
Yeah,
it
feels
happens. Like every single one is an edge of your seat situation, and of course it's not. I'm trying to think, when is the last time they had a game where they just won comfortably? I don't even remember.
Well, at South Florida, but that roadie, we had that apprehension going into it. I think it's the best job of the 5 years for Coach Hardaway, and I told Bryant before we started today, I thought last night some of the side out of bounds, under out of bounds, I all year, I think some of it has just been marvelous for Coach Hardaway. And last night, some of the player substitution, particularly this one, and I'm sitting there screaming at my TV, quit throwing the ball to KO in the offensive end, just stick backs, just rebounds, and for sure quit throwing it at his knees. He stumbled, fumbled one. It ended up being ruled out of bounds on Wichita State. Horn blows. He had Malcolm at the table. Malcolm came in. They ran a play to him right at the bucket, Donker right at the bucket, and a foul. He made the free throw. And in a tight game like that last night, you could argue that was a difference in the game.
100%.
Marvelous.
And I agree. I told Malcolm, another thing, since you mentioned Malcolm, I told him after the game that he was moving. I thought that it would take a while for him to, get his motor back, get his mobility back. But he went up to try and block a shot in the first half, and he missed it, and the ball went in the basket. But I swear, and maybe it's just my recency bias, but he got higher in the air than I think I've ever seen him.
All right, Jason, I don't want to drag you into this, but I'm going to tell you another pre-show debate Bryant and I had. Jay Morgan, you might want to weigh on this. I don't want to get you in trouble, Jason. Are Malcolm's hands that good, or is it such a contrast from KO's they look that good?
Is it? I hate being a fence sitter because, I do think it's partially both. Though, KO's hands are terrible.
Oh, man.
They're just not. They're not good. And especially against a team like Wichita, James Rojas is as
very
active
handsy.
as David DeJulius. He is as active with his hands as David DeJulius is with his, the point guard for Cincinnati, who's very good. He's going to be probably a second team all conference guy, if not. I don't see him being a first teamer, but he is one of those guys who is just very active with his hands, and Rojas is like that. And so that's part of it with KO, but I think objectively KO's hands are very bad, but I have talked to people who've been in college basketball for a long time, for more than a couple of decades, who, and I'm talking about one person in particular, but I don't want to name any names, but they told me that of all of the players that they had been around as a like coach / staff member, that Malcolm, from a potential standpoint, is probably top 5 of all the players that they've been around from a potential standpoint. And, you know, I just think that it's very apparent these last 2 games, even though Malcolm's only played 6 minutes in one and 12 minutes in the other, how much Memphis needed him.
Big help.
Like how much he does for the team. He clogs up the lanes. He can move people out of, like, he can clear, you know, paths.
Nice soft shot.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the other thing about him is he really has a touch around the rim that's, I mean, I don't think it's as good as DeAndre Williams, but it's not that far off.
Yeah.
And that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge down the stretch.
And Jason, you talked kind of earlier about that Keontae Kennedy injury, and when that news dropped last night, a lot of people were waiting for news about Kendrick Davis and if he was going to play last night. I guess a 2-part question, because I know you talked to him after the game. And
we gave all proper attribution to your Twitter site yesterday on these airwaves.
Yeah, we sure did. Always.
Wait, what? To proper attribution to what?
For Kendrick yesterday,
Yeah.
when you were showing the video of him working out, we gave you all the credit.
We were all over that. But I know you talked to him after the game. It sounded like, I mean, he was pretty sore after that first game back. When you got to Wichita yesterday, did you expect him to play in that game last night? And then where do you think that ankle is in terms of him getting back to 100%?
So, answer the first question, yes. People I've been talking to and keeping, you know, like just in my normal routine, it's been for, I would say, like leading up to the game, it had been probably more than 24 hours where it was like pretty much decided that he was going to play. It was not a game time decision or anything like that. Like, they felt good about where he was. He felt good about where he was the night before. So yes, I expected him to play. Now, like, Penny said after the game that he is playing at roughly 90% health. I would say that's about right, I guess.
Yeah.
He talked a lot last night about how there was a couple points in the game where he was pretty frustrated. I actually asked Penny about one of them because it happened like during a timeout, or like going in, like as the timeout was starting. Like, Kendrick kind of got up in Penny's face a little bit, like not like nose to nose or anything, but like he was kind of barking at Penny a little bit, and Penny kind of like looked back at all his coaches with a grin, like what, like what is this? I think Kendrick thought that he was being punished for a turnover, and Penny was trying to calm him down and say, listen, you were coming out before the turnover, like you are on a bum ankle. You know, like, or you know, like a less than 100% ankle. You were coming out before, but Kendrick didn't want to hear it. Heat of the moment. So I forget where I lost my train of thought, but yeah, Penny says he's like 90% healthy. Kendrick. Oh yeah, the thing Kendrick said was he was frustrated most last night by his inability to get any lift off of his right ankle. Like he missed, I think, 2 or 3 layups. And he was like, I'm trying to get off on that ankle, and it's just not cooperating. And that was really, really frustrating him. But so I asked him, I was like, because he was talking a lot about how the treatment over the past few days, you know, over the past week, the sort of the round-the-clock treatment that he was getting, you know, without it, he wouldn't be playing last night. And so I was like, well, do you think that, is this a situation where you're going to need round-the-clock treatment? Like, what's going to be better, round-the-clock treatment or more time? Like, I asked him, are you going to be healthier on Sunday just because you're going to be 3 more days removed from the injury? And he said yes. He said that, you know, there's no substitute for time and rest. And so, you know, what that tells me is even though people think he's going to be pretty sore today, he's confident that walking off the floor last night, he was going to be good to go. And as long as he doesn't aggravate it any further, he's going to improve. He's going to get better and better as the season goes along.
Sunday against Cincinnati, then at SMU, and then the season finale against Houston. Only 3 regular season games left. The tournament, best time of year coming up. What do you expect the Tigers to do in these next 3?
Okay. I think Sunday is going to be a lot like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be, hotly contested.
Down to the
but
wire.
I think Memphis wins. I think there's no way Memphis does not go into SMU in Kendrick Davis's return and get that win. And by the way, if they do, if that's how it plays out, they win on Sunday and then they go to SMU and win. This hit me earlier today as I was dozing off in the Wichita airport waiting on my flight, my pre-dawn flight. If that happens, once they get to 23 wins, it'll be the most wins in a season under Penny Hardaway. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
He's won 22 games, I think 2 or 3 times, but he's got a chance to win 24 regular season games, and that would be 2 more than he's ever won in an entire season at Memphis. That deserves, to me, some kudos to the job that he's done. Kind of going back to your points earlier, Brett, about just about the growth that he has shown and the moves that he's making and all that stuff. Like he's done a really, really good job this season. But back to your initial point, based on what I saw in Houston, if Kendrick Davis is not any worse for wear than he was walking off the floor last night, same goes for Alex Lomax, same goes for Malcolm Dandridge, I think they win the season finale against Houston on March 5th. I was not impressed with Houston.
I was impressed with Memphis. I was impressed with Houston and with Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. I guess I probably misspoke a little bit. Like, Houston is very impressive, don't get me wrong. But the best thing that Houston team did that day was just play hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, great teams. Yeah, it is. But, to me, great teams, that can't be the best thing you do is just give effort.
Yeah.
Right?
Because Wichita State gave effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And they lost at home, by 5. So, that's what I'm saying. I just don't think that I've said this for months. Houston is they might be the most gettable number 1 team in the country, in a long time. So I don't know. It just doesn't feel like coming back to Memphis, last game of the regular season, it's going to be a packed house. It's going to be on CBS. You're going to have, obviously you have Kendrick Davis where you didn't have him before. Sure, you don't have Keontae Kennedy, but he didn't give you much in that game the other day anyway, last week anyway, against Houston. Demarie Franklin is playing better and better every game. Jonathan Lawson is, Johnny Money as they call him. He is, he's really coming into his own. I think he was, and Kendrick agrees with me, Kendrick Davis agrees with me, he was the player of the game last night. Yeah. That 3-pointer that he hit with 1:16 to play, and then the inbounds play where he was a snap of the fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was, and it was like almost a half-court pass. Like, it wasn't just a little dump over the top of somebody at the free throw line. Yeah. Like, it was down
was
by
Seth Hennigan.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And just out of the reach of Craig Porter and just within reach for Demarie Franklin. It was very reminiscent to me, even in the moment, of their connection at the end of the UCF game. But yeah, no, he's playing much better. Again, Demario Franklin. McCadden had an off night last night.
Yeah.
That happens to everybody. I think he's tired. He's been playing a lot, especially with Kendrick out. So, I don't see any reason why Memphis cannot go 3-0 in the next 3 games.
Last thing for you, Jason, you kind of touched on both Jonathan Lawson and Demario Franklin. It seems to be with them, it's been a lot of confidence with them, kind of getting that confidence going. For both those guys, it seems like both of them have it now. Do you think those are the 2 guys that you're going to have to need to step up with Keontae Kennedy out?
Yes, I do. When I found out about Keontae Kennedy, that was the first thing.
Yeah.
Jonathan Lawson was the first person that popped into my head. And then I would probably say a close second was Jaden Hardaway. And then Demario Franklin not far behind that. Like, those 3 to me are going to, those are going to be the guys that that step up. Like, those are the guys that are going to have to step up, and they have been lately. And no, you're right. 100% confidence is key, especially with Demario Franklin. Like, I think Jonathan Lawson, he has been through, like, even though he's just a redshirt freshman and this is his first season of, on the court college basketball, like, he might as well be, he's way past his years is what I'm getting at, just because he's got the 3 older brothers and he's got the 2, both parents are coaches, or have been coaches at one point or another. Like, I think he's wise beyond his years. And so I don't know that, confidence was ever necessarily an issue for him. But certainly for Demario Franklin. And of course, like, the better you play, the more confident you are. And that's just natural. And Jonathan Lawson is experiencing that. And I think you could be in much worse shape, than Memphis is right now, given the circumstances, given that you just lost a starting lineup player who is tied for first in American play with a 3-point field goal percentage of 43.1%. Like, you just lost that guy. And yet it doesn't feel like the Tigers are in that much trouble, at least as we sit here today.
Yeah, I think you're right. But Jason, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you next week. Yeah, get some sleep.
It's not overrated.
See y'all Sunday.
You got it, Jason. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jason.
Jason Munns with the Commercial Appeal on all things on the Tiger basketball beat, and there's a lot going on as we approach the best time of the year. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars thoroughly examined, test-driven, checked out bumper to bumper, head to toe, with an unlimited inventory at DeSoto Auto Sales of every make and every model you can imagine. If they don't have it, they can get it. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. You walk in, and you're treated like family by a kind, courteous staff, down-home environment that cares. They care about your time and want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today where time really matters, the hustle and bustle, and they keep it simple. You walk in, find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. That's the ultimate car experience. That's the guarantee. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com and read the referrals. Look at all the beautiful cars and see the testimonials right there at DeSotoAutoSales.com. At 5704 Goodman Road, come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We need to get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tiger fans, Memphis returns to FedEx Forum to face American Conference rival Cincinnati Sunday, February 26 at 1. Come watch the Tigers continue to work toward back-to-back NCAA appearances and their second-to-last home game of the regular season. The first 6,000 fans receive a free blue t-shirt. Get there early to enjoy pregame wrestling outside the main entrance. Sunday, February 26th at 1 against Cincinnati. Wear blue and go Tigers go.
Folks are falling head over heels for these wheels and deals at DeSoto Auto Sales. It's the season of love. They're on a mission to help you meet your match. So if you've fallen out of love with your old ride, or other dealers have left you brokenhearted, get ready to fall head over heels for their wheels and deals. DeSoto Auto Sales has a solution for every situation. Low monthly payments? No problem. Low down payments? You could drive away for just a couple of bucks down. Trade-ins? DeSoto Auto Sales is paying way more than it's worth, and you could even lower your monthly payment in the process. Broken up over past credit mishaps? DeSoto Auto Sales credit approval process is the best matchmaker. DeSoto Auto Sales will hook you up with banks and lenders who want to approve you. It's time to fall in love, Mid-South, because you'll go head over heels for these wheels and deals when you drive off the lot in your new car for less. But hurry, this deal will fade away faster than first love. See all the wheels and deals at DeSotoAutosales.com. That's DeSotoAutosales.com.
I know you're thinking about pools and patios right now. Don't deny it. They're on your mind. So it's a good thing that Family Leisure is having their preseason patio and pool sale. It's like they're mind readers. You can buy now and save big with the area's largest selection of patio furniture. You want free layaway? Done. You want special financing? Done. You want to be ready to enjoy your backyard just as soon as spring hits? Family Leisure has you covered. Patio and pool season's not that far away. So now's the time to take advantage of this fantastic early bird pricing special. Now here comes the really special part. If you mention this commercial, you get half off delivery and installation. I'll let that sink in for a second. You heard me right, my friends. You mentioned this very commercial, and Family Leisure will give you half off delivery and installation. The preseason patio and pool sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
When someone says, let's meet at the bar, what they mean is, let's meet at Bell Tavern. They sure don't mean, let's meet at a chain where it's loud, impersonal, and the food consists of things that were frozen a minute before you ordered it. No, they mean, let's meet at Bell Tavern, because Bell Tavern is the opposite of those things. Bell Tavern is where you go to have a conversation, maybe make some new friends, and have the best bar food in Memphis. The next time you want to have a drink and spend some quality time in a bar, the only place to meet is Bell Tavern.
Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. You've known the name for 30 years. You might even remember him from nearly 20 years on Kix 106 as half of the Young and Elder Show. Now, 13 years later, Brian Elder is the largest purchaser of Owens Corning shingles in Memphis. Call him right now, 867-0303. Certified and trained by Owens Corning to earn a reputation for quality and expertise matched by no one. Don't let them tell you it has to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. Call right now, 867-0303. He'll climb every inch of your roof. He'll go into your attic and run a moisture and ventilation test using state-of-the-art equipment to make certain you're protected from mold and other contaminants. You may be causing respiratory problems for your family and not even know it. We're waiting for your call, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's here, Mid-South, the last call. Special editions honoring the end of an era with Dodge Challenger and Dodge Charger and the last of the legendary Hemi engines that power them. Up to 808 horsepower and heritage colors. P5 Blue, Plum Crazy Purple, and Sublime Green. At Gossett's got them more than anyone in 300 miles. So come by and take a look at these bad boys. Plus, celebrate the President's Day sales event with 2022 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4, $398 a month. Or get 2022 Dodge Charger SXT, $449 a month. Savings everywhere at Gossett, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Fiat. But if you can't find exactly what you want, let Gossett order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett on the Pike or shop online. GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.99 APR. Renegade NPN 96688, MSRP 32880. Charger NN 246,270, MSRP 35,630. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. We got less than 30 minutes of this episode of Sports Time. Less than 30 minutes for the week, as it's a Friday. We're ready for the weekend. But we talked earlier about Tennessee head baseball coach Tony Vitelli. Isn't that how you say his last name? Vitello. It's an O. Oh, those Italian names. But Tennessee released a statement about what happened. I'll read the statement real quick.
Very ambiguous statement.
Very
by the way.
ambiguous. The university and Coach Vitello are working collaboratively with the NCAA to address a violation in the program. Coach Vitello will be suspended for this weekend's series with Josh Elander serving as acting head coach, and we will provide an update on Monday. Coach Vitello has acknowledged his mistake and accepted full responsibility. We appreciate his cooperation in the process and his decision, or his dedication, to do right by the student athletes in the Tennessee baseball program. NCAA bylaws prohibit additional comment or details. The university will continue to emphasize to all staff the imperative of leading with honesty and integrity. Tennessee athletics.
Does it end there?
That's how it ends.
I mean, does the story end there? Move along, nothing to see?
And there's speculative things happening from people that are reporting in Tennessee. Obviously, they're not reporting it there. The reckless speculation, not reckless. What I would say would be reckless speculation.
Just kind of pointing to
Theirs
things.
is real speculation. Right. And they think this has to do with a tampering situation that's been ongoing with a shortstop transfer they got.
From Kansas.
And maybe from Kansas. And maybe suspending Tony Vitello themselves might expedite this process along and get this guy eligible. There's no official word on that as of now, but that's kind of the speculation that's happening from Knoxville.
Well, and that's been, even before this came down, that's been the speculation of there's something going on because this was a at least top 5 transfer in the portal from Kansas.
Wow.
And isn't eligible. I mean, didn't get to play, hasn't been able to play a single game. I know the first couple games were on MLB Network. They were kind of asking what was going on, why he wasn't eligible. So it very well could be that.
In the big scheme of thing, on a 1 to 10, this is about a 0.1, though, right?
In terms of what? Worry?
Just infractions, trouble.
Yeah, it has to be there.
Compared to the backdrop of the week, it's about a negative 91, isn't it?
Absolutely. This seems like more like a strategic play maybe by the athletic department to try and get somebody going. So not nearly as salacious as I thought it might be when we first heard the story. Just seems like your run-of-the-mill NCAA violation.
Because just the way it happened was so weird. I mean, day of, a weekend series.
What would tampering be, though? Paying a guy before he gets there, recruiting a player that's fully enrolled in another school?
It would be some sort of
rule book to break
violation.
anymore.
That's what I was thinking, is how would there be tampering taking place, especially nowadays in the transfer portal? There's money going around everywhere.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I guess something happened. It's definitely recruiting related in terms of the transfer portal, but it's interesting. I guess we'll get an update Monday. Maybe we'll know
more to talk about on Monday.
More to talk about Monday. But speaking of NIL and transfer, we had our first NIL infractions today. They dropped the hammer on Miami. 1-year probation.
For football, basketball? What are we talking about?
Women's basketball.
I saw this.
Did you see this?
I just saw this story.
Yeah.
I get alerts from the Miami Herald, and I thought it was about men's basketball.
No, women's basketball.
Let me repeat. I swear, I'm not responsible for anything I say or do if Memphis basketball or Ole Miss football gets the hammer over NIL.
But they're not. But they're not the first. They won't be the first because Miami women's basketball is the first.
And it says they were recruiting twins.
So they're twin women's basketball players. They were transfers. They were already out of school. And if I have this right, they have like a bazillion followers on Instagram or TikTok.
A bazillion can't be the right metric.
Not a bazillion. A lot of followers on some sort of social media package. And supposedly the University of Miami set up a meeting with a big money booster, big money alumni company or something to meet with those
high-profile booster John Ruiz, who is very active on Twitter. As a Miami. I mean, everyone's seen John Ruiz at this point.
He's the guy that just wants to make it rain.
That's exactly right. He wants to be Mr. Miami. He set up an impermissible meal in April 2022 while they were in the transfer portal after leaving Fresno State.
That's right, they're at Fresno State.
As a result of the violation, the head coach has been suspended for 3 regular season games. What do you think happens to John Ruiz, Brett?
Nothing. impermissible meal.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Wow.
Ordered it medium rare, and it came in well done.
That's right. It was. They wouldn't stand it.
Couldn't stand it anymore. Because those were the Twins. They were one of the first big NIL gets because of their following on social media. It was them and that girl from that gymnastic girl that we talked about a couple months ago down at LSU.
Causing riots.
Is it correct?
Under NCAA rules, boosters are prohibited from associating with prospects or giving them improper benefits or inducements, including meals. But that happens all the time, doesn't it?
Well, so what they're saying
Used to happen all the time.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
What they're saying, the problem with it is that Miami set it up.
I see.
Yeah, so they said, "Hey, girls, we've got this booster.
Is there any correlation
Y'all
with
meet
Jay
together."
Morgan having on a Miami?
Really?
What a terrible day to wear this.
Wow.
I'm always wearing Ranger stuff today. I said,
Sporting
let's change
to
it
you.
up.
Are you involved in it?
He's a big U guy.
I'll admit it. I am John Ruiz.
Whoa.
That's
bombshell.
I've been John Ruiz the whole time.
How hard one? Who will be back first in football, the U or Texas?
And don't have any bias because you're wearing that sweatshirt.
I have to have bias here. I think it's the U. I think they got
Jay Morgan, for those who don't know, has been all in on Mario Cristobal in Miami ever since the day he got hired.
I had him going 10-2 last year.
Yeah, I bet the over 8.5. And David Cobb has always tried to temper my expectations by saying this was the only coach that could hold Justin Herbert back. They were running the ball behind big behemoth linemen with Justin Herbert, who the Chargers seemingly can't throw the ball enough with Justin Herbert. Mario Cristobal didn't want to throw the ball with him, though.
We will do Tiger Bankroll offline because Sunday we went and got the Vegas point spread. Sure. Last night in Tiger Bankroll, one of the more heartbreaking losses we've ever had over these airwaves was Jay Morgan's flip-flop from having the Memphis W, then taking Wichita. We gave him the chance to change once again.
You did.
Brian, how many different times?
I mean, every segment it felt like we were offering.
And that's why you were so willing to bend the rules for me, because you knew I'd be on the wrong side of that one.
We were trying to help you.
You were.
And you take the L 125. You fall to 825 in your bankroll, 3-3 since joining us. You inherited a team that's now 12-16. I win. I moved 11-17 for the year. I win $10. I'm at $70.
Wow,
Brian
moving on
Dacus,
up.
Man, your mastery of this. You win again, 21-7. You win $50. You take it to $1,700. You started with $1,000. You've won $700. That's 70% money managers. All you fixed assets. You hedge funders. You big public finance. You big finance guys. Y'all promising anybody 70%? You private equity bankers.
Brian, I've told you this before. I think you should sell these picks.
I can't.
I think we're giving them away from free. Why not?
I can't. Because it's all luck. I mean, I'm just coming in here. I get that feeling in my gut.
21-7.
I love that feeling
Brett,
in my
don't you
gut,
think he should
Jay.
sell? He's being too humble. He should sell his picks.
I'll
Really
I'll start working on the website this weekend. We'll start, maybe I'll have like a promo code bankroll.
At the very least, somebody should be selling the picks.
Somebody should.
Somebody should.
That's salty. Sunday we'll wait. We'll do it on Sunday. We'll announce our picks one way or the other. Even if we have flip-flops, we'll announce them one way or the other. Tigers go into that game Sunday. The net today, and I don't think it'll change too much between now and Sunday, it's 38, one above them Rutgers, one below them Northwestern. So they're sandwiched between two Big Ten teams. Cincinnati's net 79, one above them Colorado, one below Wake Forest.
And I'm excited in that game against Cincinnati to see Malcolm Dandridge. You kind of getting him ramped up. Had a good game last night against
I think
Victor
his hands
Locker.
are that good.
I think they are too.
I think never
he's-
mind the contrast.
the
with KO.
soft hands.
I'll be the dissenting opinion here. I think KO's hands are that bad.
They're bad.
They're terrible.
They're bad. But
Hey,
we're
God bless
selling
the kid.
sunshine, right?
God bless the kid, though.
What's harder, the wall Keontae Kennedy hit or KO's hands?
Plot twist: Keontae Kennedy hit KO's
Oh, I
hands.
love it. I ring the bell when I need it. I got to ring the bell for that one.
Yeah.
Brett,
Where is the bell?
I got to put away. It's
Why
my
are you
fault.
backed up ready
He
to
has
go?
the-
We
I
got
didn't
2
even-
minutes to
2
go.
hours of downtime.
I
He doesn't know what to do.
I haven't rung it all day. It's a shame.
He has
I
it.
have a great net story for you, though. This is excellent. UCF last night lost
I heard you and Dave talking about
lost
this. Go
to
ahead.
South Florida at home last night,
Wow.
okay? and UCF loses.
I didn't know that, actually.
UCF loses, and they move up in the net.
How many spots?
I think just one. South Florida wins. South Florida wins.
That defies
Wins
gravity.
the game.
And moves down one in the net. So the team that lost.
What are we doing here?
What is the
What's
net?
going on?
What are we
I
doing?
think the
Really?
net. I have my hypothesis about the net. I think the net is just almost what Ken Pomeroy's net ranking is. It's just your offensive efficiency rating, however they calculate it, minus your defensive efficiency rating, somehow weighed by the level of opponent in that regard. I think that's the only explanation for why these teams move up and down as they do.
All right, never mind bankroll. Just what y'all's gut for Sunday? Tigers and Cincinnati. Tigers do what?
Jay, you want to start us off?
Well, Dave and I picked on the line of -6 today, according to Ken Pomeroy, and I actually took Cincinnati. I think the game will be closer.
I do too.
Than
like
that.
Jason Munn said, a lot like last night. Look, all these games have been down to the end all year, and it's why I think if the Tigers somehow navigate through these next three and win those, let's just say win 2 at Dickies Arena. Come tournament time, they've been tested. They've been in these tournament-type games since January 1st.
Yeah. And that's great practice. It truly is great practice to have.
Absolutely.
It's one of the things
How
I
do you
say.
replicate that?
It's exactly right. Winning close games is absolutely a skill, and the only way you get good at any skill is repetition. Exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a close one as well. I'm excited about that matchup down low. Victor Locken, who, I mean, just gave Memphis all sorts of troubles in that first game with Malcolm back. Kind of can have a true center versus Victor Locken. So I think it'll be a good matchup.
And
I think
Landers
it'll be close.
Nolly.
Landers Nolly return game. Ooh.
And you know what he wants.
Revenge.
Blood.
And maybe Ole Miss could tamper with Wes Miller while he's down here.
Maybe. That'll be a storyline to keep an eye on. But let's get to our final break of the day. When we come back, it'll be time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Golfers teed up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Callaway, featuring the Paradigm Woods and Irons. The Paradigm Woods are engineered with forged carbon to have unparalleled distance and forgiveness. The Irons feature a high-strength forged face for increased launch, speed, and spin. A new paradigm in performance. Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
O'Reilly.
Don't risk getting stranded with a bad battery. Let the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts test your battery for free. If it needs to be replaced, get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with purchase of select Superstart batteries. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, folks. The Chevy Sheriff with good news for car and truck buyers. The Chevy Ranch has new cars and trucks in stock, ready for immediate delivery. Factory rebates up to $1,000 and Sunrise discounts high as $4,000. Immediate financing available with the interest low as 2.9%. A $15 million used car inventory with cars and trucks for every budget, and a lot specializing in cars and trucks under $15,000. If you've been turned down by another dealer, see us at Sunrise. We specialize in financing, and Sunrise is the home of the guaranteed credit approval. Find new roads to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. Collierville.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
What I learned today is we talked earlier about how the first 2 spring training baseball games were a lot shorter because of the pitch clock.
Automatic strike called today on Manny Machado.
That's exactly where I'm going. Manny Machado got the first ever pitch clock violation because it's not just the pitcher. The batter has to be. It's a bat clock. So
everybody's got to be ready.
It's okay. So the batter has to be set and alert to the pitcher when the pitch clock reaches 8 seconds. He was not ready when the clock hit 8. And so his response to it, quote, I might be down 0-1 a lot this year.
I like your question, Brett. Does it take place in July? I don't know about that.
Never mind October. Does it take place
can't
in
even start thinking
June?
October.
Man, I think it'll be a heavy emphasis on it by at least up to April 20th.
Yeah. It's easy to do it in game 1 of spring training.
It sure is. I learned today the Grizzlies season is at its most crisis stage. The schedule's rough. Play's not been great. No, play's been bad. And the league has adjusted. And all the smoke stuff has backfired. The team looks like a team that could talk a little less and play a little more. They've talked a lot. I haven't really minded. I don't mind brash. I don't mind confident. But everybody now wants a piece of Ja. And you know who else they want? You saw Joel Embiid find him last night. I didn't think he was doing anything that bad. Everybody wants a piece of Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, they do. They sure do. And you saw it last night throughout the game. He was getting in their head a little early, and then that late in the game kind of came back. But what I could have done with that, it's really what I learned, what I learned, and what I could have done without, all tied in one. Because Live Golf was back in action today, and I just learned.
Did y'all have any action on it?
Absolutely not.
No.
I watched it for like 2 minutes, and then I turned it off. But I just learned that Live Golf cannot have the Twitter handle that they want, which is just straight Live Golf, because there is a Welsh junior golfer named Olivia who goes by the Twitter handle Live Golf, so they can't have Live Golf.
Heyday incoming.
It's for sale. UBS Royal Family.
They can buy it off of them. But today the first round is in the books. Any guesses on who's leading?
DJ.
No, I meant the team.
I don't know the team.
Because we're
the
playing
Thunderbirds.
It's a team sport now.
The Penguins.
The Crushers.
Oh, we were close. Brett.
My
Fancy
team.
football names.
My team, the High Flyers, because I picked my team the other day. They're in 8th right now.
Got to get me a team name next week.
Player leader, Jason Kokrak.
Jason Kokrak. Spelled backwards looks like Kokrak, doesn't
It does.
That's right.
Boy, get Harry Carey started on that one, and you could have an FCC violation in there somewhere, couldn't you? I could have done without this. Mike Krzyzewski says he doesn't miss coaching. Well, I'm glad, because I don't miss him. And really, I'm glad not to see him or the Duke love, the Krzyzewski love, across TV, especially coming up. And I will still love it when Duke gets eliminated from the NCAA tournament, hopefully an early exit.
They're playing better, though. They're playing better. Maybe.
I just realized I might have a what I could have done without or what I learned today,
Please.
too. I apologize. I'm late on it, but I heard today that Pac-12 might be shopping the rights to their games to Ion Television. You know Ion, Brett? It's one of the networks. They play reruns of like Blue Bloods.
What do we got on tap for Ion today?
Today is Hawaii 5-0 Day, I believe.
Marathon. That's
Old
right.
Hawaii 5-0?
I believe it's the old Hawaii
70s?
5-0. Book 'em, Dano. That's right.
Oh, I love that.
Me too.
So you can go from Hawaii 5-0.
Watch a marathon of Hawaii 5-0, then Washington and Oregon State at
Boom.
6. I'm in on Ion Television.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Me neither at all.
Why
Not at
not?
all.
The funny thing, I have to jump through a bunch of hurdles and stuff to even try to find Live Golf because they're on the CW now. The package I have does not come with CW, so I have to download the app, go onto the app. They say when they have it on there, there's a little logo in the top corner that says CW Sports.
Love it.
We're going to watch a lot this weekend. Are y'all ready for that ovation Brandon Miller's going to get and the universal castigation from it? around sports because it's coming.
It's going to happen.
And everywhere would.
Oh, absolutely.
This is not just the Alabama thing. We all would. We feel like we have to. And where did we lose kind of common sense of, okay, I love my group, I love my team, but I'm not always right.
No.
Where did we lose that?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, though.
That's a good
all
question.
This attention, all these eyeballs that are going to be watching these basketball games, the ones that Alabama play down the stretch, might be a good thing for college basketball. I know this is not a good situation for anybody, but a lot of people are going to be paying attention.
Oh,
that's a good point.
The train wreck aspect
That's
of
exactly right.
It sure could. Also, have y'all thought about this one? Tomorrow at home, it will be the last home game ever for Patrick Ewing representing Georgetown. Because he's out after this year.
Will, won't it?
Yeah.
And who takes over there?
I was thinking today about that. I have no idea. I can't even venture.
Rick Pitino's name's out there.
It is,
and it's it's a great Catholic school, but I just don't know if they would hire Rick Pitino with as scandal plagued as he was in the past. But he did serve a big price, and I think once you've served, you've served.
I think that's a school that I like college basketball a lot better when Georgetown is playing good basketball.
I do too, and I remember the heyday.
Get ready, Phoenix. That elusive championship may be coming your way. I say may because judging from my team, that could set a record for lost time with injuries. If they stay healthy in defend, look out because that offensive arsenal is scary. You said it on Twitter.
Magic Johnson.
Rick Pitino.
Oh!
Rick Pitino. We got to start following his Twitter.
His Twitter is hilarious.
Saturday night at FedEx Forum versus Denver for the Grizzlies. Only FedEx Forum appearance of the year for Denver. Remember, we used to think of a Western Conference Finals. That doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Sunday afternoon, Tigers at FedEx Forum against the Bearcats for what could be the very last time. It will be the 39th meeting all-time in Memphis for Tigers versus UC. They first played in Memphis February 8th, 1969.
Yeah, not a lot of college basketball tonight. Obviously, the big slate
but
tomorrow. Tomorrow's awesome.
21 of 25, top 25 goes tomorrow.
Whew.
Texas and Baylor.
Yo, that's going to be going. St. Mary's Gonzaga tomorrow.
Baylor, St. Mary's Gonzaga.
Indiana, Purdue.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day of college basketball. But tonight you see kind of a lot of those mid-major schools that are going to get their tournament started next week. You've got kind of Marshall, Old Dominion, Queens, Liberty. So there's going to be some good games. The only ranked team in action tonight, number 16, Xavier, on the road against Seton Hall. That's the team Memphis played. You kind of want them. Maybe they could pull the upset. That'd be huge. Or at least big. It wouldn't be huge because Tigers lost that game, but it would help that Tiger resume and that net a little bit. But then obviously in the NBA, only a couple games tonight. Thunder Suns on ESPN at 9 o'clock.
And Monday we have tournaments, and in that Sun, I think about 6 or 7 different teams could win that league.
I think that one's going to be a really fun one. I think Conference USA tournament's going to be a really fun one. There's going to be a bunch of tournaments that are just fun to watch.
Mountain West.
Don't forget my Rangers play the Capitals and the Kings on a back-to-back Saturday and
we
Sunday.
have
Everyone's going to be watching that.
How could I forget? The Kraken dropped a tough one. I think it was like 6-5. Shootout to the Boston Bruins last night. It is what it is. But that'll do it for us this week. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again Monday afternoon.